personal struggles into power. Living with Tourette syndrome, he faced bullying. But instead of staying silent, he started Jalen's Challenge, a foundation that educates kids on kindness and inclusion. He's proving that standing up for others is always the right move.
This moment in Black history has been brought to you by Mill Street Church of Christ, 2318 Mill Street. Church isn't a building, it's people. God bless.
You good, man? Good, good, good.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to take this mic off of here because I can't stand right here. Good evening. Thank you all so much for coming. You look around, you see empty seats. I want you all to judge heavily the people who get on Facebook and complain that they're not in these seats, okay? But again, thank you all so much for being here. I'm Rashetta Ozan. I'm the founder, director, and CEO of the Vessel Project of Louisiana. This is not uncommon for us to host a community meeting, community forum, town hall meeting. We like to provide the opportunity for our community members to be able to come into a safe space and ask the questions that they have, get the answers that they need, and have that opportunity to interact with those who are in elected positions or who are seeking elected positions. So again, welcome here to the Mill Street Church of Christ. I'm going to turn it over to Brother Arduin, who is the pastor here, who's going to welcome you and pray, and then we're going to get started.
Amen. Once again, we thank all of you for coming to showing your interest in your community. Hey, it's about us, and then unless we take a stand, we will not be able to make a change. Is that right? Pray with me. Lord God, we come before your throne of grace and mercy this evening because we realize, dear God, that all power is in your hand. You are in control of everything. And that's why when we pray, dear God, we say not our will, but thy will be done. You already know the outcome of this election, dear God, but still in all, we have to do our part. And that's why we're here tonight, to let the people know, dear God, so they can make the right choice. But the ultimate choice, dear God, is in your hand. And we ask that you bless each one of these candidates, dear God, as they put forth the best effort that they can to let we as people know, dear God, what we have before us. So we ask your blessing upon each and every one of us, not only the candidates, but all of us. We need a special touch from you. We pray for our country, for our community. We pray, dear God, for the political scene that is before us, all of the chaos that is happening, all the way from the White House down to this little community of Lake Charles. Father, just be with us, guide us, protect us, and thank you for Jesus, who gave his life for us. It is in his name we pray and give thanks always. Amen.
Amen. So this is going to be an informal community conversation. We're going to first allow each candidate who is present to come up to the podium. They are going to introduce themselves. They are going to talk about their platform. They're each going to have 5 minutes to do so. After all of them have gone, then the audience will have the opportunity to ask questions. Your question can be directed to any particular candidate. All candidates can answer the question that you ask, or you can say, you just want this candidate to answer that question. This is not a debate, so there's no rebuttals. This is truly a conversation because all of us are here because we want one thing, and that's a better community, a better Lake Charles, and we're trying to ensure that we make the best decision in order to ensure that we get that better Lake Charles. So without further ado, again, I do want to reiterate this because y'all know I'm gonna say this. We ensured that we invited every city council candidate, every mayoral candidate, and the current mayor. You all can look around and see who's here and who's not. And if that helps you to make your decision, then so be it. Because I feel like the community is important and people should make time for the community that they claim to care about. Amen. I don't know what they're doing. Heaven forbid anybody is sick or their children are sick. But if they're doing anything other than being here when they could have been here, then that should absolutely be a determinant when you go to the polls to vote. Again, I am unbiased. We are not for any one particular candidate with the Vessel Project of Louisiana. We just want to ensure that we provide a forum for everybody's voices to be heard because we represent the people. So we're gonna get started in no particular order, but we're gonna go with the way they're sitting. So Ms. Amanda is gonna go first.
Good evening. I'm a little short, but I want to say special thanks to Ms. Rochetta Ozan and the Vessel Project for hosting this event and allowing you, the voters, to make an educated and informed decision. And your vote is your voice. This is important because if you don't vote, you shouldn't complain. To whom much is given, much is required. I am Amanda Fontenot Johnson, number 16 on the ballot. I am a 26-year public servant working for the city of Lake Charles. My platform is to be a voice for the citizens in District C. I am a true servant leader, and I want to be a voice for the voiceless. I've been a servant leader in my community all of my life, from top teen to top lady, from Del Sprite to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, from junior daughter to grand lady, just to name a few. I can be seen serving the homeless at Abraham's Tent, dropping off individually wrapped snacks to Water's Edge, picking up trash at Adopt a Spot, picking up Calcasieu, Oak Park Neighborhood Alliance, and the Love the Boot campaigns, respectively. I'm no stranger. You see, I grew up 3 blocks from here in Booker T. Washington Courts. Y'all didn't know that. 537A, as a matter of fact. When they renovated the projects, they moved us to Hillcrest. That's also in District C. I lived with my mother and siblings on Susan Street. When I worked at the Housing Authority, I served this same community that I grew up in. Again, to whom much is given, much is required. I'm asking you to allow me to continue the work that I've been doing. See, I didn't just jump into this race by chance. This is my race to win. I am a winner. I am the head and not the tail. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I walk by faith and not by sight. And finally, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. Why now? Someone asked me that. Well, there is no other time to be the voice for District C. The seat has been vacated by Mr. Guillen, and I'm humbly asking you to vote for me as your next voice for District C. Let me say that again. I'm not going to go along just to get along. I've been to a couple of council meetings, and that's what I've been seeing. I'm going to do what's in the best interest for my constituents and the best interest of the city of Lake Charles. I'm having my first town hall meeting this Wednesday at Huber Park. It has been renamed the Solomon Cannon Community Center. An opportunity for you to voice your opinions, your needs for our community, and to receive information on what's going on in District C. I am Amanda Fontenot Johnson, number 16 on the ballot. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Donald Fondale, and thanks, Ms. Ozanne, for inviting us, and thank you guys for showing up. You know, I worked 29 years in industry, and I've always enjoyed life for some reason, and I was trained, I was a part of a lot of decision making that was going on. I was actually sitting in the room with the vice president of ConocoPhillips, and he asked my opinion, you know. And you know, I've always believed in engaging the process. See, a part of us as African Americans, there's this force that wants us to disengage and not believe. But look at the price that African Americans paid to be citizens. You know, I remember being at an event and somebody said, "This ain't your country." I said, "Oh yeah, this is my country. I've served my country in the National Guard. But people have died, black people have died for this country. This is my country, and I own every right that goes with that." Amen. You know, and I'm not going to allow anyone to make me sit down and say it doesn't matter, you know. And I had retired, and I had decided that I was going to enjoy life, you know. And I was going to work around the church and just enjoy life. And Pastor sent me to Swallowhead, and we went there for a celebration on the resiliency of Lake Charles. And we get there, and boy, the folks say, "Man, we don't need to be celebrating. Folks are still suffering," you know. And so I started to offer solutions, things that we could do to help people recover with the hurricane. And the manager of Swallowhead said, "Hey, man, you want a job?" I said, "What? I just retired. There's no way I'm going to punch a clock." He said, "All I need you to do, Donald, is work in your community." I said, "I can do that," you know. And I have started working in my community because I feel this sense of responsibility. It's not somebody else's problem to solve our problem. If we don't engage our problems, who will? As a boy growing up, how many of you played Sheriff Lee's baseball? No, that kind of tells your age. But I remember every postal worker was a baseball coach because they felt responsible for their community, and they began to coach baseball. And that's why I'm running for office. I know with the training that I got in industry, I can help my community, and I can bring about progress, you know. Because even now, I was walking through the neighborhood campaigning, and I'm around, I walked in this area, and it's in this area. They must have had about 10 kids there. They had some young adults there. They had this person there. I said, "Boy, it's a big community." And I began to ask them, "Well, what do y'all think y'all need?" And one of the young men said, "We need something for the children." And I said, "Are you aware that they have an after-school program over at the park?" Nobody knew. They started a tutoring program that every day after school they feed kids, and they started a tutoring program to help I volunteered at the local school, and this principal is dying for men to come by just to show up and support these kids. You know, but they have this after-school program to help people, but the community don't have the leadership it needs to understand what to do. And that's what that's what the city council person is. To me, my idea of the city council person, he or she is the leader of that particular community, and whatever they need, that's what we need. My time is up. I can keep going now. Thank you all. District B.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank Rochetta and everybody that came out because I know you are concerned. I heard a question say, what's going on in the community? I'm Priscilla Sam, by the way. I know most of y'all do know me. I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I lived over 45 years of my life in District C. And I come to you humbly, asking you guys for an opportunity to initiate change. The question was, what's going on in the community? Well, let Priscilla tell you what's going on into the community. I am called every single day about getting something fixed, from getting people into school, doing FAFSA applications for everyone. You name it, they call me for it. So just imagine what can be done when I'm there. So the question is, what has been done? I'm not bashing anyone, but I only went back 28 years because I ran last election and I was defeated by 11 votes. I think it's typically because only 23% of us showed up. That's why it's hurting my heart to see all these empty seats. But with that being said, District C has not received 1% of the budget, 1%, in 28 years. And all of us have the opportunity to pull up the budget, the capital budget, and you will see. And that's why I'm running. I'm running because I was a born leader. About 10 years ago, I got on my knees because I raised 24 kids, y'all, and only one biologically mine. I heard they said that I received money from. Everything is public record. I have never received even a Medicaid card for neither one of the kids. And everybody taken care of. A leader is one thing. This is what I see a leader as. I see a leader as the overseer. As a mother, instinct, we are here to take care of all of our children, and I'm not calling no one kids. I'm a caretaker. And I am sick and tired of being sick and tired, seeing absolutely nothing happening in our district. I had the incumbent now tell me, you can live anywhere in Lake Charles. Go tell it. You can live anywhere in Lake Charles you choose to. Leave. I'm not going nowhere. Home is where the heart is. So if y'all give me the opportunity to get in this door, the same thing I've been doing since I was a little girl, I'm going to continue to do it. Stand up for what's right. 10 years ago, I asked God, I said, God, what is my calling in life? And that's what made me run for city council. I woke up to the assassination of Martin Luther King. The same thing on his death certificate, April 4, 1968 at 6:05 p.m. It's exactly what's on my birth certificate is in my purse. So I said that to say, we have to get people in position to have the opportunity to get things done. And if you would have me, I am giving everything I got as I have always done all my life, and that's what I'm known for. If you consider Priscilla Sam number 17 on the ballot, you're going to get what you rightfully deserve. Thank y'all.
Good evening, y'all. My speech is going to be completely different, okay? I'm going to tell you about myself, about my family. I'm going to tell you why I'm running for this campaign, and I'm going to tell you if I get elected as a mayor, what can I do for you? You ready? Let's get started. Okay, my name is Khalid Taha, and I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. I came to Lake Charles, Louisiana back in 1983. For 42 years, I've been committed my time and my life to the city of Lake Charles. All my friends graduated with me from McNeese. They left. I'm the only one stayed here because I love Lake Charles. I have grew this passion for Lake Charles. I don't know why, but I'm so much and deep in love with it. So I am married for 31 years to my wife, Hanadi Taha, and God blessed us with 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. Shadi is 30 years old. He is a mechanical engineer. Shireen is 28 years old. She's a rad tech. And my youngest one just graduated from McNeese and master in mechanical engineering, and he's 26 years old. And you can see we're all McNeese graduate, very proud. I earned my bachelor and master's in chemistry from McNeese University back in 1988 and 1995. I work currently as a senior chemist at Westlake Chemical. For all people you know, it's the old PPG site. Okay, in my spare time, I like to spend my time with my family and my friends. In my additional spare time, I like to volunteer to the community, like I've been doing for the last 30 years. I've been donating my time and volunteer my time to Abraham Tents for the last 11, 12 years, Bowl for Kids' Sake, United Way of Southwest Louisiana, Beach Sweep, paint recycling, and of course, coaching soccer. I've been coaching soccer for 30 years. I'm the head coach for McNeese Men's Soccer Club. Okay, as a father, my top priority is my family. And as a citizen of Lake Charles, my top priority is the people in Lake Charles and the safety for all Lake Charles. That's including North and South Lake Charles. We're gonna pause on this sentence for a little bit. We're gonna come back to it. Okay, so this is about myself. Why I'm running. It's not like I just decided to drop out of the sky and become a mayor. I have ran for city council for 4 times, and 4 times I lost. First time I was a Democrat, but I said, wait a minute, I'm such an idiot. I'm running in the most conservative area in Lake Charles. It's a G district. When I bought my house 25 years ago, I didn't even know North Lake Charles, South Lake Charles, and that really extreme. So I bought my house in Kingswood subdivision, and 95% they're conservative, strict Republican, hardcore Republican. So I switched from Democrat to Republican, not because I'm in love in Democrat or in love in Republican. I switched so I can tell everybody I am American just like you, and I can run the race. Okay, I always believe that I wish I can vote as American, not as a Democrat or Republican, but unfortunately in the United States you have to be either Republican or Democrat. Yes, you can be independent, yes, you can be something else, but if you're not Democrat or Republican, you cannot vote for presidential campaign, primary. All right, so why I'm running? Because I've been involved in politics, local and state politics for the last 30 years. I've been engaged in Lake Charles City Council campaign, Lake Charles Mayor campaign, state representative. I helped Judge Carter with his campaign. Ward 3 Marshal, Sheriff Tony Mancuso, I helped 20 years ago. So you can tell I'm involved for the last 20 years. In the last 20 years, before Hurricane Rita, 2005, I got involved with the city council. I have attended, of course, not religiously every time, but I have attended like 95% of the meeting for Lake Charles City Council and city zoning. And the reason I did this, so I can learn about the politics in Lake Charles, because I wanted to become a politician. But I'm a chemist, and how you can become a chemist and then a politician. For the last 20 years, I attended those meetings, and I learned about a lot of stuff in Lake Charles that hasn't been done. They've been talking about Lake Charles development in the Civic Center, I-10 corridor, downtown, sewage and drainage. What have they done? Nothing. If you vote for somebody else on the committee, on the same mayor, you're gonna get the next 4 years the same results. You need to have a change. If I get elected as a mayor, there's 3 things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna generate a lot of money for the city. How are we gonna do this? It's really, really easy. We've done it in overseas, we've done it in different cities. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marshall Simeon, and I'm a candidate for mayor of the city of Lake Charles. I want to thank the Mill Street Church of Christ for having us over. I think this is an appropriate place because I think our community needs a few things for the Vessel Project. Michelle, you know that when the mind of the community, the body of the community, and the spirit of the community line up, all the blessings can flow right through. That's a true vessel. And those are the things that have driven me to do these things all my life. But first, I do want to make one correction, because you said that you had invited all the candidates for mayor, and then you said you had invited the current mayor. But the current mayor is a candidate for mayor. Right. And the fact that he's not here says that there's some things that people think that it's inevitable that he's going to get elected, or that there's an entitlement to be mayor. It is not. This is a job interview for us to come out and work for you. And so I would tell you that people have come to me and told me that there's so many people in the race and there's a lot of anxiety about that. I would tell you this: I'm not running against anyone. I'm running for the position of mayor of the city of Lake Charles. And right now, there's only currently one person in that position. And I intend to hold that person accountable for the decisions they've made and the things that are being done in our community. And more importantly, what does not affect our community, what is not happening with our community. I come to you as a humble man because I've served since 2003. I served on the Lake Charles Port Board. I've served on 2 terms, 8 years on the Lake Charles City Council. When my police juror, James Mayo, died, I served a year in his place until the community could finish grieving and elect someone new. And then when my councilwoman, Mary Morris, passed away, I went back and served on the city council once again to let my community grieve. But along the way, I've seen things in the community that once I got off the council, some things just stopped. And it's not just the black community, it's the entirety of the city of Lake Charles. If you want to just look right down the street at the city of Lafayette and see what they are doing, the accomplishments that they're making. And sure, we've been through our storms and everything else, but I will tell you, when I came onto the Lake Charles City Council, within the first 2 months, Hurricane Rita hit our community. But by the time I got off the Lake Charles City Council, we had the strongest economy in the United States of America. It wasn't even close. And we're on that path again, but we need the right type of leadership, the right type of direction to get there. And most importantly, we need vision. So when y'all came in, y'all got a card with a push card with certain things on it. You know, the blue side shows all the places that I served. And I tell you, I don't consider myself a politician. I am a public servant. I am a public servant because the energy that I have outside of my law practice, I go out and do things for our community because my wife told me, she said, you can't complain about it if you're not willing to do something. And that same thing is going to work for voters. If they don't vote, you can't complain about what's going on. Now, I'm going to stand here in this church on the truth and say that that's biblical. When the Israelites went out into the promised land, they went around the walls of Jericho, and they had to do one thing: shout. And when they shouted, the walls came down. And every one of us needs to look at the walls that are in our lives that are holding us from prospering and just do one thing: shout. And, you know, the way these campaigns work is not about go vote for this person, go for that person. When that curtain closes, that's the most selfish right we have. That's the time to have an honest conversation with ourselves. And I'm going to ask you to vote for one person. Vote for yourself. And if I do my job right, when you pull that lever to vote for yourself, my name is going to be next to it, Marshall Simeon. I'm number 6 on the ballot. And I'm here to talk to you, but I'm more important, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your questions. I'm ready to answer everything. If you look at my campaign, I've put everything out there. It's on video, it's on Facebook, it's on everything else. There's nothing that's off limits with me. Whether it's talking about the times that I was in the city council, to family, to even the horses, you know. I'm here for everything because I think right now we need a transparent administration that's going to be the voice for all of Lake Charles. And to do that, we need a mayor for one Lake Charles. Thank you.
Thank you for putting this on. The public should be informed of who's the best qualified to hold office. I'm up here today because I'm not standing behind the pulpit because I consider it sacred. I'm a God-fearing man. But I'm here today to introduce myself to you. I'm the only candidate that's running for mayor that's been poor. I grew up without a mother. My mother left when I was about 8 years old. My father was not around that much. At 18 years old, I joined the military because I saw it as a way out of the community that was infested with crime. The military showed me what I should be and what I could be, and I rose to the rank of Command Sergeant Major. I learned how to lead. I went on to become a mayor of a military base. Someone asked a while back, what qualifies you to be mayor? Because I was a mayor in the military, running the military base as a Command Sergeant Major. How did I get that rank? I was appointed by the Chief of Staff of the United States Army out of Washington, D.C. A lot of you know me as Captain James Stewart at the Sheriff's Office, as a public relations officer. I love doing that job. I love serving my community. I love supporting the seniors in the community. That meant a lot to me. But while serving at the Sheriff's Office, I would leave for a year and go on active duty with the military. For 14 years, I ran a hospital. A lot of you didn't know that. I ran a finance command that set up banks on the battlefield so the soldiers could draw pay. So my experience is vast. I know what it is to be poor. I know what it is as mayor, what the middle class needs and the poor needs in this community. We need better paying jobs. That's why on my platform is bringing manufacturing jobs to Lake Charles. Can I do it by myself? No. I need all of the elected officials on board to make that happen. To bring automobile manufacturing jobs here, I need all of the elected officials on board for it. But can I lead it? Yes. Do I have the experience to lead it? Yes. Let me give you an example. Right now, and this really bothers me, there's an amendment on the ballot October the 29th. If a 13 or 14-year-old steals a car, it is a felony. It will follow him for the rest of his life. That is not right. As mayor of your city, the mayor's supposed to have your back. The mayor's supposed to keep you informed. The mayor's supposed to listen to what's going on in Baton Rouge. The mayor's supposed to listen to what's going on in Washington, D.C. Because the decisions made in both of those governments will affect you right here. I'm a caring person. That's another thing about me. I care about those who don't have, and as mayor, you should care. I care about those who don't have food in their house or money to pay their bills. That's the way a mayor should be. He should care about making sure you have that. A mayor should care if you don't have food in your home. Whenever the food trucks come around to give out food, the line is around the corner. The question is why? The mayor is your advocate. When they start talking about raising the insurance costs on your car, the mayor should be talking on your behalf, saying they cannot afford it. When they start talking about raising the prices of food, these managers that run these stores, they get a bonus by how much profit they make at that store. It could be Kroger's or Market Basket. It doesn't matter. A mayor needs to step out of the box. I know this is a mayor, city council type government. The mayor meets with his staff. They put together the yearly budget. The city council votes on it. And that's it. Other than that, all he do is cut ribbons. But can he do more? Yes. A mayor can do more. A mayor can look out for you. So that's just a part of you getting to know me. I've been poor. I know what it is to be poor. I know what it is to need. And as your mayor, I will always have your back, and I will always have an open door policy. I will never be too high for you to speak to me. May God bless all of you, and thank you for having me.
Hello, how y'all doing? I'm Charles Gallion. I'm retired, married, father of 2. But before I continue on, I want to just let y'all know this campaign is not about me. It's about the people, it's about the community, and it's about the city of Lake Charles as well. If you just look around North Lake Charles and District C, businesses are leaving us. And those businesses that has left, they're not coming back. You look at South Lake Charles is growing. You look at North Lake Charles, it's deteriorating. I mean, I'm a person like that. I'm gonna just keep it real. It's deteriorating. And those businesses that left, they are not coming back. And one of the reasons why our city officials that we have up there downtown representing us are not being held accountable. That's one of the reasons why. And if they don't be held accountable, believe me, it ain't gonna get no better. It'll get worse. And another problem we got out here with crime, it's like nobody want to speak about crime, but we do have crime in our community. Crime does exist. I was a victim of crime. I had a $4,000 zero-turn lawnmower stolen from out of my backyard. Okay, I guess the city police, they come down there, they write a report. You know what happened with that? They probably threw it in the trash can. Nothing was done. It's no accountability with our Lake Charles Police Department. And we got to face the facts here. Hey, I'm just being real with y'all. And another thing, like I said, with crime going on, drive-by shooting. They got this little girl right down Mill Street here, looking at TV, got shot and killed, looking at TV in her house. Something like that could happen to any one of us. I didn't hear one city official address that issue, none of them. That has to change. We put these people in there to work for us. And another thing, people are getting tired of being lied to. I'm getting tired of being lied to as well. But like I say, and say for feeling safe, I'll be honest with y'all, I don't feel safe as I did a decade ago. I don't. I'm telling it like it is. But if we get the wrong person in that office, believe me, ain't nothing gonna change. I'm telling you something I know. It ain't nothing gonna change. We need strong representation. It ain't all about leadership. We need representation, strong, firm leadership to make a difference in this community. Because I got grandkids. I live in this community. I know what's going on. You know what I mean? And like I say, I tell people like this, if you think I'm lying right around Lake Charles, see all those old vacant houses, abandoned houses, businesses are leaving. Just like I was a Kroger shopper. Okay, I used to go shop at Kroger's on 12th Street. Now, they're all the way out on Country Club Road. I got to travel all the way there, and especially elderly people that would shop over there, they got to travel all the way there. And I'm gonna get one even closer. They got banking institutions. Pharmacy in my district has left. Like that Walgreens on the corner of 12th Street and 14, a lot of elderly people went there to have their prescriptions filled. Now, they gotta go across town. It makes it extremely difficult for these elderly people. But we ain't got nobody standing up in there saying nothing. So that's all I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to keep it real with the people. If we get the wrong person in that city council district C, believe me, we're gonna have the same results, and that's negative results. That's all I have to say, babe.
Thank you to each one of the candidates. Thank you to each one of the candidates for coming up and speaking and introducing yourselves. Did you have
I got the mic just in case.
Oh, thank you. Now it's your turn to ask questions. Listen, Whatever question you've been holding in and you've been wanting to know, this is the opportunity. Unfortunately, everyone is not here, as we stated, and I do want to reiterate that the Vessel Project is not endorsing any one particular candidate. This is an open forum for the community to be able to ask their question and get their, have their voices heard and have their questions answered. This is my beautiful daughter, Keandria. She can bring the microphone to the people who have questions. I'm going to ask my mom, my beautiful, lovely mother, to help keep track of who's raising their hand. And feel free to ask it from back there or come up here, or if you need them to bring the mic.
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Semier. He said when he left his position that your area was one of the best in the nation. And my question is, what area of town are you referring to?
I'm talking about the entire city of Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana. I spent my time on the port board. In 2 years, we built the LaBerge Casino. It wasn't just me, it was the port board. That's the most successful gaming operation in Louisiana. We went to San Diego, we signed a contract for the LNGs. And this area is the #1 exporter of LNG in the entire United States. And that's about $60 billion worth of expansion projects that's about to get started. Now, the issue is we can go back to being the strongest economy in the United States, but the whole thing is how do we get all of us to the table for that? Now, I've been working on expungements. The DA's office has been working on expungements. You've got people that made mistakes when they were teenagers that are just out of the economy right now, but they've got children. They've got families, so they need opportunity. They need hope just like anybody else. We've got areas that we need home ownership. No, we've got programs that help people, first-time home buyers, credit repair, financial literacy, things like that. So we need to activate the whole entirety of Southwest Louisiana and bring everybody to the table, because you're right. It's no good having the best economy in the United States if everybody's not at the table benefiting from the banquet, right?
His question was, it was a direct question to Mr. Simeon about the economy of the area being better after he was a city councilman. Do you want to speak to the economic development of the area?
Yes, I've heard a lot about businesses, supporting businesses, small business. And the last time I spoke about small businesses, they close as fast as they open. And the problem with that is that someone starts a small business, they don't know they have to pay a tax even though they don't sell an item. I propose that they have a 5-year tax cut. A lot of people don't know this, but a barber has to pay tax on his chair, whether he sits somebody in it or not. A beautician has to pay tax on their chair, whether they do a hairstyle or not. And that's what hurt a lot of our small businesses. We have a grocery store open now across from Zion Tabernacle Church. And what type of support are we giving that store? So as mayor, I would market that store. I would have a marketing department that would put up a large sign for the community to know that that store is in North Lake Charles. I got a question today about, is North Lake Charles a food desert? I said, no. They have a grocery store there, but not many people go into that store to support it. So economic development in North Lake Charles is very important. I also told a person today that if I'd have been mayor for 8 years, I'd have had a chemo boardwalk on that beach and a Buc-ee's right there where that truck stop is, where Marshall Simeon has his sign in. It would be a Buc-ee's there. The Buc-ee's went to Lafayette instead of coming here. Now, why did that happen? A mayor has to be out front. A mayor has to be in the door, no matter where it takes him, to make sure that this area can be developed. Thank you.
Yes. Speaking of the economic development, when that came about, when the LNG plants were supposed to have this big boom, what ended up happening was our forefathers did not stipulate that there should be a temporary housing there. We gathered up We got our stuff together to do a temporary housing. They did a research for Lake Charles, which on the side of it they had North Lake Charles, which was supposed to become an industrial site more than a place for people to live. My question being that we were supposed to be booming at that time, and that is to you, Mr. Senior, and especially piggybacking on what you cut me off, okay, on what Mr. Charles said about how things looking and how we have things going. And what you said was that we were, number one, we had the right idea. Our report came back to us saying what we should do and shouldn't do. And it seems like we did the total opposite of what the report said that would have brought us ourselves as members of this community jobs and workmanship and small businesses would end up not to be the case. Can you deal with that? Answer that as well. If you've been mayor, would you have done anything different?
I'd have done a whole lot differently. You know, I'm saying when I got off the council, we had the strongest economy. Had I stayed on the council, everybody would have participated. And you see the same thing happen. The big problem was we had this big giant economic boom, and that was a big push to build man camps because we had no place to house people. But everybody didn't want those in their backyard. And so what happened was some places got really smart, like Lafayette. They started setting up parking rides where their people were parking their cars, they were coming here working, and they got their jobs and they went back. Now, a lot of business people were expecting that this boom, that they were going to benefit from it because people were going to spend money and go to the stores and everything else. But if the paycheck doesn't stay here, the economy doesn't work. And the way a good economy works is every new dollar that's in your economy, it should circulate at least about 7 times before it makes its way out. We didn't take advantage of that at the time. I wasn't on the council then. But I would tell you this, I represent businesses. That's what I do. My job is to make people's dreams come true.
Hello, my name is Linda. Oh.
Yes, I'm Larry Sherman, and I'm probably the oldest person in here, but I decided to make Lake Charles my home. Raised my kids, sent them to school, retired from Citgo. I can't understand that he may or may not be able to do this. This is going to get into Interstate 10 coming through Lake Charles. As they build Interstate 10, that bridge was already there. Somebody got paid for that bridge because that's a federal highway, I-10, and this is a connection for I-10. If somebody go down and blow up the Chapelite Basin, are they going to tax us to repair it? This should have been a federal project, but our senators decided they did not want the interstate infrastructure bill. They voted against it. Mitch McConnell got a bridge in Kentucky, and we now being told that we are going to have to pay a toll to get across. I don't think a federal highway should have to pay a toll in any state. So let us get back to that, and as mayor, will you work with the DOT, Department of Transportation, our 2 senators, and especially that little governor we got, and see if we can't get this thing off and running. As a mayor, now I know you run the city. The mayor, I was looking for Hunter. I was going to put him in jail because he came. But I would like to hear whether the mayor can get with that group and try to get this thing taken care of.
I'll do a quick answer to that one because when I was on the council, that's exactly what I was working on was the interstate. Matter of fact, we had started we put turnarounds at Enterprise and Kirkman in anticipation of rebuilding that entire corridor. I think the Interstate 10 in this city is an ATM that needs to be activated. Mr. Stewart talked about the putting a Buc-ee's here. The reason why a Buc-ee's didn't come to Shattuck Street exit was because there's no infrastructure. And a private business will not come in and build your infrastructure. So while we're building children's museums on the lakefront, Mardi Gras museums, throwing out money everywhere to try to buy an election, at the meantime, the foundation to build your economy is falling by the wayside. And that's not just an I-10 problem. That's a South Lake Charles problem. If you look at Gautier Road, Ham Reed Road, Country Club Road, 397, Big Lake Road, we are way behind in our infrastructure. And I started extending Enterprise Boulevard because I was going to connect 2 federal highways that was going to open up development in the northern part of Lake Charles. And all those opportunities are still there. But if we don't do something about it, then what the gentleman said right here, the industry decided to come in and try to redistrict our community because they said, well, if you're not going to take advantage of it, we will. So we're at a crossroads, and we have to get serious about this race. We really do have to get serious about this race. Look at the red side of my card. My work, I'll let my work speak for me.
See, y'all can tell I'm not a politician. How do you say it's no infrastructure to put a Buc-ee's on Interstate 10 when the people that's coming off of Interstate is what visited the most? There are high-paying jobs there. Every time someone mentions North Lake Charles, they say it's not enough infrastructure. It's time for us to stop that. I believe the gentleman's question was laying on about the toll going across Interstate 10, down Interstate 10, the new bridge. If I was mayor, I would be watching out for you by doing this. I would have been down to the legislature. I would have talked to them and asked them to exempt Southwest Louisiana from paying that toll. As mayor, I would have started with Lake Charles. Plant workers cross that bridge. Business people going to be crossing that bridge, paying that toll. That's an additional tax. And what about the seniors that live on the Westlake side who want to come on this side to go to church? I would have been your advocate saying, please exempt Lake Charles. This is a coast-to-coast interstate. Let them pay for it, not the citizens of the Lake Charles. Thank you.
I would like to reiterate on that a little bit. Now, I'm not running for mayor, but I was in a conversation with a young man, I would say maybe a couple of months ago, and we was talking about that I-10 corridor. All that vacant property on each side of it has great potential. I mean, great potential. It's thousands of people travels through here every day on I-10. You could build like a restaurant, a hotel, and these people stop in. They'll stop here in Lake Charles. They'll spend money here. You know what I mean? But like I say, nobody's addressing that issue. I mean, like I say, I'm not running for mayor or anything, so it's out of my hands.
Okay, this is my subject. Okay, for the last 20 years, you think about what has been done for Lake Charles, for North Lake Charles, South Lake Charles. For 20 years, I give you $100 if you tell me any politician talked about North Lake Charles and South Lake Charles as Lake Charles. I'm the first one in February the 3rd in the sorority debate forum. I spoke about we want to make Lake Charles. Houston is 40 miles from one end to one end. Houston, you can say South Houston, North Houston. Lake Charles from North Shattuck to Gautier Road is 15 minutes. Nobody. Lake Charles, 42 years ago, whenever I came to Lake Charles, they talked about Enterprise Boulevard. They slapped some concrete on the ground, put a couple of palm trees on each side, and that's it. What have they done? It's not us. I'm sick and tired people of talking about North Lake Charles, North Lake Charles. They don't vote. I'm here to tell you the truth. You can vote. You need to know the truth. If you elect one of the officials, the same one that we have, you're going to get 4 more years of the same thing. The drainage, the sewage is going to stay the same thing. They want you to file for your home insurance when you get flooded. They don't want to fix your flood, okay? They don't want to fix your pipes. They don't want to fix your drainage. Lake Charles front, I spoke about it 8 years ago, and I have it in writing. This is the Facebook of our city. When you come in, that's the first thing you see. Capital One and the Civic Center. What they did, they demolished Capital One. What they did, they bought the property. The city has no business of buying real estate. The city has a business to run this city. Black, white, north, south. There is no north and south. There is Lake Charles. And put this in the history book. I am the first one talk about Lake Charles only. No North Lake Charles, no South Lake Charles. Now people are already copying me, and so they can get the point across. Okay? I've been talking about this for the last 20 years. It's not like just did. Okay? You guys need to come out and vote. Please don't vote for black or for white or for Middle Eastern or Palestinian. Vote for the right person for your city. Because if you don't, guess what?
Thank you so much for that. My name is Linda Eifert Hayes, and I was born in Lake Charles, left, came back in high school, attended a semester at Boston, and then it was Lake Charles High. My class was the first class to graduate from the Civic Center. Proud of that. I was born in North Lake Charles. In Houston, I was blessed to see what they call regeneration or something like that. Yes, the reason nothing by the city is done to Lake Charles, because South Lake Charles people wants North Lake Charles. It does not flood in North Lake Charles. Fitzgerald Road, nobody cared about it. All of a sudden, you can buy it by what? I know in Houston you can buy it by the feet. So if you own property on Fitzgerald Road or in Lake Charles, or in North Lake Charles, I'm begging y'all, please quit selling y'all properties. Please.
Amen.
Take those properties. If you don't want to live in North Lake Charles, rent them out. Make sure you get the right renter now. But the problem happened in 3rd Ward. In 1976, I saw an article that our part of 3rd Ward would be taken over by the University of Houston, and it said it. It's written here in Lake Charles on a plan for North Lake Charles. It was not by any, let's go put some concrete on Enterprise. Go all the way back there and see what's going on. Yes. No, I'm just saying from a person who left and came back, because now I'm back to my future in Lake Charles. And I'm sick and tired of black people thinking what the mayor should do for North Lake Charles. What will North Lake Charles do for itself? When I grew up in North Lake Charles, if we're going to talk about color, I didn't see white people, except the LB Price man, maybe the insurance man. We went to black grocery stores, black cleaners, black everything. I did not see white people until we got on the bus to go to Ryan Street. So what I'm saying is, let's quit being the kind of people who forgot where we came from. My ancestors have only been in America for less than 200 years. When we was let free, the ones who had been enslaved, they had nothing. They didn't complain about what the mayor doing was this and that. You people fed themselves, and I don't think we need all that. What I'm asking is this: why is the drainage system so horrible? Number one. Number two, why should the terrorists give up their homes when that bayou can be enlarged like Bray's Bayou, cemented, and it can become a bigger bayou? You may lose a couple of homes, but you're not going to lose all those homes, and people don't have to be uprooted again. I live in that area, not there. But trust me, there are new businesses coming there where it's supposed to be a flood zone.
Okay, that's going to have to be.
You know.
Yeah, we got to move on.
Okay,
The question was about flooding.
that's my subject again. The same story for 20 years. what have they done for the drainage and the sewage? You answer the question. Do you know the answer? I don't know the answer. The answer is none. They said they did. My subdivision, I live in South Lake Charles in Kingswood subdivision. It flooded 3 times. And they haven't done anything about it because we're not important enough, I guess. And you're talking about the property, I would kiss you for that because this is one of my top priority. 8 years ago, I said, people, don't sell the property on the Civic Center. They wanted to make money. Do not sell it. I would like to go to the Civic Center with my wife and kids like we did 30 years ago, walk in the Civic Center and not pay any fees to get there. If we sell those property at the Civic Center, guess what? You're going to have to pay cover charge to get in. You have to pay fees. So yes, I'm against selling property in North Lake Charles. And like this beautiful lady said, you have to think about yourself, okay? Don't let anybody dictate you. Don't vote for the current people right now. You already tested them. You need a new faces, a new people. Somebody can take the torch and run with it. Someone can say North Lake Charles, South Lake Charles is one.
I'll answer your question on drainage. 7 years ago, I talked about drainage. You know, I talked about a municipal drainage system. And the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury was listening. I saw Mike Smith in here. They went out on Louisiana Avenue, right by McNeese Street, and put a 17-acre drainage canal. Now it doubles as a park. You look at the north part of Lake Charles, Riverside Park is a natural drainage canal. That's why we put the rocks. It's a gabion, it's a filtration system. When I extended Enterprise Boulevard, there was an outfall that goes to the Calcasieu River that drains all of North Lake Charles. The city didn't own that. It was sitting under Friendship's property. And they sued me because I told them we need to take control of that. We did that. But if you look at it now, Enterprise Boulevard, they were talking about throwing concrete down. The beauty of Enterprise Boulevard is underneath. We've got drainage covers that's 8 foot by 8 foot wide. You can drive a truck through the drainage under Enterprise Boulevard. North Lake Charles in that area will never flood. And the other thing is that they were building streets where the only places you had collectors for water was at the intersections. And that was just a lot of water trying to go to one little spot. But go down Enterprise and look, every 100 feet, there's a collector. And you could have the heaviest rain that you can find, and that street will never flood, our community will never flood. That drainage system over there, the people at Willowwick were complaining to the mayor about the fact that they're flooding now with all the apartments that's coming up there. And he said, well, I'm not an engineer. You don't need an engineer. All you need is a lift station to grab the water there and bring it to that 17-acre place and save all these people's homes. Drainage is simple. It's how do you get water from one place to another before it causes damage? And I'm good at doing that.
I got one thing to say. What is your name, ma'am? Miss Linda, I'm going to answer your question. In the terrace, I've never left for no hurricane. In the terrace do not flood. The floodgates was closed and the pumps was turned off. I got the video. That simple. I brought it to the people in charge, because I'm not going to say no names. I brought it to the people, the city council and the mayor, and I didn't get a response. I went up there. They wouldn't talk to me. None of them.
Yeah, I want to mention something about drainage. And I've been in my neighborhood 40 plus years. And every time we have a significant amount of rain, just like the last couple of days, we got a significant amount of rain. Everybody on my block, in my community, they could not flush their commodes. And that's a fact. It's everybody on my street, in my neighborhood. I had a meeting with the current mayor, which is Nick Hunter, about this issue. And he got me to speak to someone that's over the drainage of Lake Charles. But you would think 40 plus years something should have been done about that. But then again, the city official we had in there representing District C didn't do, he didn't fight it. I don't know what happened, but I tell you what, like I say, people are tired. People want something done. This is actually, it's a sanitary problem. It's sanitary. You can't flush your commode. Come on now. And like I say, I experienced it yesterday with all this rain, the day before, and not only me. But like I say, we got to get someone in there that's going to take a strong, firm stand and make something happen.
Hey, y'all, I'm going to interrupt for a second. We have another mayoral candidate that just came in. This is real life. People have things to do. So we're going to give him the opportunity to introduce himself and talk about his platform so that we can move on with the questioning.
How much time I got? Because I don't want to waste anybody's time. 5 minutes. Okay, I'm good at 5 minutes. How you doing? Thank you for coming. I know everyone have something to do. I am my name is Wilford Carter. I'm born and raised in North Lake Charles. I've been an educator for 21 years, all right? While I've been educating, I also managed to own 2 companies. That's Carter Home Rehab and Carter Bell Bonds. I just started a new company. This is my company name, Surety First. It's an insurance company for actually bail bond companies in the state of Louisiana. And then I'm about to move. My company is going to also spread and expand to Houston area. So I decided to run for simple reasons. I decided to run. One of the main reasons is there's not one Democrat in the race. Not one Democrat. And so I was like, why would we not have, when it's the majority of Lake Charles Democrats, why would we not have a Democrat actually in the race? The party of Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, Bill Clinton, how you would not have one in the race was beyond me. And then there's some issues that I've seen that's just not being addressed. And I said, somebody has to do something. And so my dad actually told me, he said, well, listen, if it's something got to be done, it need to be you. Because I'm 77 years old. I'm tired of running this race. So it's certain issues, and this name just a few issues. One, Lake Charles is right approximately 48 square miles long. 48 square miles. The entire city is not being represented properly. The economic development in the entire city is more going to South Lake Charles than it is North Lake Charles. I'm born and raised, my house is in North Lake Charles. I want to see more things. It's opportunities that can happen that certain people in Lake Charles are refusing to allow it to happen. We have 83,000 people right here in Lake Charles. 50 years ago, we had 76,000. That's not any growth at all. All right, when you look at people that our sisters or our brother cities like Lafayette are growing so fast and getting so many things because they understand that you have to have economic development and you have to give people opportunity to grow their own wealth. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is if the president of the United States, the one good thing we have about Trump, the one good thing about Trump is he has a term. He can only be there for 4 years. That's the best thing we can have, okay? So if the president of the United States has to have a term and can only run for 2 terms, why not the mayor? That makes no sense. If the governor of Louisiana can only run a certain amount of terms, why not the mayor? It's very, very dangerous to allow somebody to have more than 2 terms because they get allies. They get certain people that can control them. They understand what they did wrong, what they did right. They got things and tools against them. I'm only going to run 2 terms. I wouldn't even want to think about doing it, okay? But more than 2 terms. I'm here to serve. So that to me, that's extremely, extremely important, all right? Another issue is simply if you have 51% of the population African American, why no one in your leadership, in management, when it comes to the mayor, why you don't have any diversity? You have to be on purpose, with intention, make sure you have a certain diversity group of people. I did not say, now this is a trick they always want to use on you, well, they got to be certified. Well, everybody going to be certified. Everybody going to be qualified. That's what they try to tell you, to trick you. Oh, you're going to get just a black person, but they not going to be qualified. No, that's not true. Everybody can be qualified, but you give everyone an opportunity, especially contractors. I talked to a guy at Gumbo Yaya the other day, had a $500,000 contract. African-American kid, young kid, I coached him, I taught him. So we had a conversation, he said, I lost it. I said, why? He said, he have no clue. So we have to give people opportunities. The largest person, the largest group of people that spend the most money is the government, the city government, then the parish government, then the state government, then the federal government. They spend money to build this city. We have to spend money in our people inside of Lake Charles to build our city. We got electricians, we got contractors, we got everything we need right here. We have to continue to spend our money at least 7 times within the city in order to build the city. Does that make sense? So if you build your money, then we welcome other people in. Then you say, hey, come in, look at what we have. Look at what we're doing. We got to strongly support as many people as possible can. We got to diversify so we can see everyone at the table. If you cannot, don't ask me anything about North Lake Charles or I'm not at the table. That makes no sense. Just like kids. Kids won't learn, kids don't even want to talk to you until they know they're at the table, you care about them. So I'm a person that wants to include everyone. I represent the working people. I'm from North Lake Charles. I'm going to say what I got to say, whether you like it or not. I don't make promises. If I don't know the budget, don't ask me if I'm going to raise a paycheck for the police officers if I don't even know what the budget is. Y'all, that is a political tool. When you start saying I'm the most qualified, hey, there's a bunch of people can be qualified. Just have a little sense. Is that, oh, time up. All right, y'all, God bless y'all. Thank y'all. I apologize for being late because I know y'all time is valuable. Thank you.
Okay, I think.
Do I get to talk now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fellas. First, you stop commenting about the bridge because you can't do nothing about it. Okay, the taxes, first, my name is Sam Banks. Y'all don't know me. I used to be the principal of LaGrange High School, multi-site plant manager, Alcoa, the husband of Shirley Banks. Okay, this is what I'm saying to you. I don't want y'all to be saying things to our community that's not factually true, okay? I want you to understand me standing up here. Qualifications, there's no such, anybody can get anything. If they use that, they're using that because you're black. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. Only people that gotta be qualified in the state of Louisiana is a doctor and a lawyer. No longer even a school teacher don't have to be qualified. All right? So don't let nobody tell you you don't have no qualifications, because that's not true. And you want to know about it, it was so bad, I applied for the port director's job. And the guy said you had to have a 4-year degree. Okay? And the guy they hired didn't have a 4-year degree. All right? And so I go in and I ask that question. So I'm speaking fact. I asked that question, so how did this guy get the job? By the way, that's a $175,000 a year job. This is not no cheap money. His salary went up to $250,000. Then that LNG came in, he all of a sudden quits a $250,000 a year job when the lease goes in. Nobody talked about that. But something ain't right. All right? You don't quit a $250,000 a year job when somebody got a contract down there. So I ain't saying nothing. Look, men, women, be factual and honest with us. That's all I'm asking. Look, I want to vote for the person that's going to be honest with us. Tell us the truth. Don't sit up here and talk about the I-10 bridge. It's already done. They don't even say you're going to do that. Don't talk about drainage, because Simeon's right. They put in a 17-acre. You go over there and look at it behind F.K. White over there. It's already done. The drainage is done. All right? We watched it, my wife and I watched the flood over there. We were standing during a hurricane. The water was so high it was above the street signs. They fixed it. But now what I'm talking about is jobs. The people that live in here need to have employment so they can work. We got a small business. We yet to get a contract from the city. So I'm saying to you, I'm worrying about us. You cannot afford a house on South Lake Charles. It's $450,000. For a $200,000 home, you got to make $75,000. The teachers can't afford a home. We can't get people to move here because it costs too much. Now I'm saying this, we give away the tax money, the ITEP grant. Y'all know about that? You should know about that, Marshall. They give the property tax away to the corporations. They supposed to hire us, and they're hiring people from other states. They're going to build that bridge, and the contractor is not going to even hire anybody from here. Now, if y'all want to be real about it, get us jobs for that. The person going to get my vote's going to tell me what they're going to do for that. Wait a minute, I'm going to let finish. I'm going to get off of this. Because my wife told me, be cool. Let me say this to you. Let's keep it real. Don't talk about stuff you know good and well you can't fix. Talk about, you can fix this, Carter. Get some jobs here. These people want work. Everybody needs pay. All right, give them a job. Not no cheap old $15 an hour job, $33 an hour, $45 an hour jobs. We need our people employed, Amanda. That's what you want. You run around for city council. If they hire one person that doesn't live in Lake Charles for a contract, y'all should be all over them.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me, baby. Thank you.
Now, I'm not running for no political office because I'm too old. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hold every one of y'all get elected accountable for that. Because I'm going to be calling you up and telling you the real deal. My time is up.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
That,
I'll be calling too.
that's, again, I'm, okay, I want to address that issue about what you're talking about. You're absolutely right. That's part of my platform, is bringing manufacturing jobs here that pay $25, $30 an hour. Shreveport, Louisiana got an AI plant. They have already broken ground on it. They're going to hire 500 permanent jobs, 1,500 construction jobs. Some 5,000 contractors going to be contracted with Facebook. That's Meta. I'd like to see that come here. Can I do it by myself? No. But on my platform, I like to see a chip manufacturing company come here, an automobile manufacturing plant come here. Not to make the cars, but makes the parts. That can be done. They are trying to find a place to come to. But can the mayor do it by itself? I'm going to reemphasize that again. No. You have to bring all your elected officials on board with you so you can go to the Office of Economic Development that the governor has under him. Plead your case to try to get that here to Lake Charles. The land to build that plant is not in Lake Charles. It's outside the city limits of Lake Charles. That's why I emphasize you must bring in all of your elected officials to make it happen. So you're absolutely right. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Brother, hello. Okay, brother, you are absolutely right. I was just talking to someone about that issue earlier. When it was building Sasol, when it was building Cameron LNG plants, you had more young men and young women, blacks, walking around here unemployed. But if you drove down about a beach there, all these cars, these people was from Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, all over the country now. We got local people right here. They couldn't get a job over there. And I agree with you. You're absolutely right about that. And I just have to, reiterate what you said. And it's true. Me personally, and when I seen that, I say, that's not right. Our local people, we need to take care of our people first. That's why these jobs come here. We get them to come here for our people, not for people that lives all over the country.
All right, before Carter came in, it was my turn to talk, but we gave him his 5 minutes. So I really had a comment when we were talking about the drainage. I live in Oak Park, and a lot of times the roots from the big oak trees drain up our drains. We had rain a couple of days ago, and there's logs in the drains right now. I was gonna get out my car and take that log out, but I didn't want to get my hair done. See, messed up. It's natural. So long story short, now we're talking about contractors someone called me today to offer their condolences, and he told me it's been 3 or 4 years since he actually got a job, a contracting job in the city of Lake Charles. He's tried going to the 10th floor. He's qualified. He's bonded. He lives in Sulphur, and he can't get a contract. So these type of things need to change. The good old boy system needs to be demolished. And thank you. See, I do things decent and in order. When you say time, here you go.
Okay, we're talking about the jobs, right? It's correct. I'm a senior chemist at Westlake Chemical. I love my job. Everybody look up into me. I have 37 years experience in the chemical industries. To get a job in the plant, which is the most paying job, you have to be qualified. How are you going to be qualified? You have to have a Suella degree, or you have to have a McNeese degree to be qualified to become an engineer or operator. So if we don't have the people have qualification, we need to get them started right now. We need to open a training school. We need to open the classes, trying to get them started. So 2 years from now, when they graduate with an associate degree, they can guarantee to get a good job. But
I'm going to be out of order now.
yeah,
Because
but
in the education system, Carter,
yeah,
we
but
have the vocational training system over there. You send them over there, and they still don't hire. I mean, I'm just telling you because I know these boys are passing the job.
but you generalizing everybody, okay? Maybe you're correct, maybe you're not correct, okay? But we're not on anybody's side. But in order for our kids to get a good job, we need to get them education, okay? The education is the only way to get a better job, okay?
I've been on the floor, so I'm going to let Mr. Carter say something.
All right, Ms.
We're still going to get to all the questions in the audience, but we're giving them the opportunity to respond to his question. That was his.
All right, Mr. Baines, all fabulous. Mr. Baines is my mentor. He already had my cell phone, so he definitely gonna hold me accountable. It's not that that's the excuse they use is that we need to be qualified or we need to have a certain level of education. We've been educating these kids for a while. These kids are ready. You listen, 80% of what you learn is gonna be on the job. They already got the qualifications. This is what we need to do. You cannot ask a large corporation to hire them. You don't ask them, you put it in a contract. They understand contracts, they understand lawsuits. They hold their feet to the fire. You need to hire at least 75% of the people in this community. If you don't do it, we will sue you, and you're going to have to give us back the back taxes, whatever we gave you to move here. You cannot ask for permission. You got to tell them, this is what we want. If they agree to it, cool. Can you sign this paper? If you don't sign this paper, then we don't have a deal. You have to make people honor what they telling you going to do once they move in. Or what they're going to do is hire other people to ship it in, shipping out, and the money's not going to stay in the community. That's it.
He's right. I was in a meeting with plant CEOs, and they talked about the degree that he's talking about. But they didn't know that there was a little young fella in that room who worked at Sasol. And when they started talking about you had to have a degree to go to work there, he stood up and said, I don't have a degree. They just hired me 3 months ago. So you're right. Now, I'd like to touch on the drainage part. The mayor alone cannot fix drainage. It's going to take the Drainage Board and the Calcasieu Parish Public Works Department to join them. Not only that, it's going to take the state legislature. Water leaves Lake Charles two ways, south and west. It may flow east, but it's still going south. So if you elect me your mayor, I have a plan to fix 75% of the drainage problems we have here in Lake Charles. Thank you.
Mr. Baines, I want to answer your question too about jobs, because my history has always been to try to get our people employed. When we did the bond projects, we had a number of local contractors local people in the community that got work out of it. L&M Traffic wound up being the persons that staged all the areas for the Enterprise Boulevard extension. And they saved the city over $1 million on that contract. Lake City Trucking, people like that. So, and the same thing is happening with the I-10. We're writing letters of recommendation to get people in. On the Community Foundation, you know, after I got out of office, I did stop public service. On the Community Foundation, when Sasol came in, they wanted the workforce development program. So we took people that were unemployed and underemployed. We sent them to Suella. They got degrees in welding, truck driving, and other things, and all of them were getting hired when they came out because, and we had, at one time we had 75 people, and I said 75 families because when the breadwinner comes into the family, it lifts that whole family. But the other side of it is I'm pushing for people one after another to get into these plants. Some very, very talented people, and all they had to do was one thing: stop smoking weed for just a little while and pass a piss test. Because, and look, I can't say, it's a safety-sensitive job. You know, you go out there in the wrong frame of mind, do the wrong thing. Not only will you get yourself killed, you get other people killed. So it's a two-way street on the jobs, and we need to step up because that $60 billion worth of LNG projects about to start. If somebody's not working by then, they don't want to work because there's not enough people to fill all those jobs.
Thank you so much. I do want to reassure you all that we're going to try to answer everybody's questions. We did not have an ending time. This is your meeting, so we're going to get to everybody's questions. So if you have to leave, you're free to leave, but we're going to continue to ask questions as long as there are questions to be answered. So I think they have an order that Ms. Lottie is next.
Yes.
And then Lynn, and then Sister Smith.
Okay, I have a two-part question. One is for residents in District C, as in Charlie. He lives in the village. He feels as though he's not being heard about the street lights, about the crime, about the drainage, and about the stop signs, or whatever, in the village. And he's not being heard, he's not being acknowledged of his problems, or listened to, better word. Okay? That's his question to the candidates for District C.
Okay, I'm a candidate for District C. The village, I'm sorry, is for Councilman Craig Marks.
Wow.
That is his district. When they did the redistricting, I have a map here. They gave the village and the apartments down Fifth Avenue to Councilman Marks. So that's F now. So we really would have to get with Craig. But on the stoplights, leaving, headed to College Prep, there wasn't an arrow, or coming out of College Prep and Water's Edge, they didn't have an arrow for them to turn. So I made one phone call, and now there's an arrow. Only 3 cars can go, but still, they thanked me because that was improvement. But, so what else from the village?
It was the crime, the street lights, the stop, I'm sorry, the street lights,
Okay,
like the lights.
so
It's dark. It's very dark and it's dangerous.
I'm inviting everybody to come to my town hall meeting this Wednesday and voice your concerns. Please pass the word to him, and we can see if we can get something done. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I tell you what, that's a real good question you asked about crime. It's like nobody want to speak about it, but it exists. And I'm gonna use this as an example. Like I said earlier, I got a $4,000 zero-turn lawnmower got stolen from my backyard. Got the police come down there, they wrote their report. Boom, nothing happened with it. They didn't even investigate that. I got a neighbor of mine, it happened around one Christmas, I want to say it was about a week before Christmas. Someone burglarized her house, took the kids' presents from underneath the tree, everything. Okay, I got surveillance cameras on my house. I had the suspect on camera. City police came down to my house, they got all the footage. You think something was done about it? No. And the reason why they are not being held accountable. So they don't care. I mean, they'll go there and write your report, sure, but they'll throw it in the trash. Yeah, so it's no accountability, baby. It's
That
none.
was District.
The Lake Charles Police Department. Let me educate you all what's going on. The Lake Charles Police Department is 25 officers short because they are underpaid. The sheriff's office pays more than the Lake Charles Police Department. So when they get trained, they switch over to the sheriff's department. The problem he's having with no one investigating is that we have the same amount of detectives in the Lake Charles Police Department that they had 25 years ago. No one wants to stay for low pay. A police officer's pay is so low, they're in the 40s. I like to see it get to the 50s. Yes, the money is in the budget. The mayor just announced the other day he spent $20 million in North Lake Charles. I'm still trying to figure out where. Now, the Lake Charles Fire Department is even worse. 50% of the Lake Charles Fire Department is gone. It's gone. Now they're trying to recruit kids to be firefighters. It's not working. We need to pay them. We're spending millions of dollars in other places, but we're not taking care of our first responders. Now, to finish answering this question right quick, I know my time's up. If we raise their pay, they will stay. And if you have a mayor like me who has a background in law enforcement, I'll make sure they're doing the right things by you. Thank you.
I tell you what, I'm gonna reiterate on this. They working as police officers. They accepted the pay when they got the job, but they're not being held accountable. They're not doing their job. What I mean, if you got an issue with crime, that's what we hired these guys for, to investigate the crime and do something about it. In the black neighborhood, it's not happening. It's many people I've talked to and told me, hey, look, what can someone, get them, hold them accountable? We got to hold them accountable.
They were talking about the drainage. I was talking to the guy over wastewater, and what's happening, they got holes in the system, so when it rains, water get in and you can't. And we have accepted that for years. Folks can't flush, and they don't complain. So if you don't complain, there's no record that there's a problem, and your council member should know that there's a problem and bring it up on the budget. So the thing of it is, when we accept things that are wrong and say we can't do nothing about them, that's why we don't get things accomplished. If everybody complained every time it rained, they would have a record of it every time they had to come out. And then when the budget is made, you got a record that says, we got a problem over here. Let's try to fix it.
Yes, sir. Yes, the next question. Thank you, sir.
One more thing,
No,
Dave,
the
if you
mayor,
don't
this is
mind.
for the mayor questions for me.
Yeah, but
No, I was asking it for another citizen.
just
This
want-
is but this is for the mayor. We're moving on. The mayor question that I have on the floor is to the mayoral candidates. I have a problem with the body, meaning the voting body, city council. The DNA makeup of that is 4-3. So then, therefore, the mayor's administration should have a reflection of that 4-3 body, right? In his director's position, in his consistent position, because I had a problem when mayor, and then to our community, we have to know the police chief who's gonna protect us, who's gonna speak for us whenever we're done wrongly, is the police chief. Therefore, we have to put in there who we want as mayor, because that's going to be a reflection of who he elects as the police chief. I've talked to Caldwell, and I've told him, and you all could do it yourself. I didn't like Dixon, but at the end of the day, when we had that killing on Shattuck Street and Moreland, you look at the press conferences. When that little 10-year-old boy died and that little girl died at 6 years old on Mill Street, you look at the police press conference and you see the rapport that Don Dixon had. He had a heart to the community about this murder. Caldwell got up there and said, in essence, what he said. no connection to the community. I don't see him in the community. Therefore, as a mayor, I want the police chief to reflect my community, to reflect my heart of my community, to reflect to say he's going to protect my community. A mayor who's going to appoint a position of an accountant, who's going to have our best interests, and the body of the city council seats to reflect the citizens accordingly to the DNA makeup of the body of the seat, because the city council's vote is what constitutes what the mayor can do, and we need to act like it. So my questions to the mayor: will y'all be reflective of the community as the reflection of the body?
I can start first.
That's the first thing I talked about, and that's the first thing I'm definitely going to do. Some people are going to lose their job. I'm just going to be honest with you. And for the simple fact is we have to be more diverse. Diversity builds strength in a community. If you don't understand somebody in North Lake Charles, because you haven't talked and spent some time with people in North Lake Charles. So we have to do that with intention. We have to be intent about diversifying the entire community so we have a clear understanding of what we're doing. Right now, 15% of the police force is African American, but 51% of the city is African American. That makes absolutely no sense. So you have to talk to this and hold the chief accountable to go ahead and recruit him. When he say he can't find them, I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna find them myself. All right. So that's it. That's my time.
Again, I'm not a politician. You cannot fire the police chief. They made sure that when they voted him back in for 6 years. You have to have just cause. Now, the mayor appoints him. The mayor appoints the chief. But the city council has to approve it. I agree. So what you're looking at here is the only person that can fix the police department. The police department is ran on policies and procedures, and the chief has to abide by it too. If you elect me your mayor, the first thing I'm going to do is counsel the police chief of what I expect of him. If he don't do what I expect of him, then he will be removed.
Let me one quick comment, Nick.
Okay, for the record, I am not with the police department. I am not against the police department. But I love law enforcement because they're the one, when we go to sleep, they protect our houses. When we go to work, they protect our houses. Yes, I support them, okay? You know that the police officer graduated from police academy. He makes $19 an hour. So that's about $36,000 to $42,000 a year, and that's facts, okay? So by himself, $42,000, how are you gonna survive on that? Like they said in the background, the cops are underestimated and underpaid. That's why we don't have equality. That's one of the things I was hoping, if I get elected as a mayor, okay, 2 things we're gonna do with the police department. We're gonna do refresher class training like we do in the chemical plants, everybody from top to bottom, to make sure they do their job right. If they need another training from outside, we have to send them outside so they can do the correct training. This is my arrow?
I just want to make a correction. People have been complaining about it when it's a significant amount of rain, and they have brought that to the guy's attention. They brought it to his attention. And like I said, the problem's been existing like 40 plus years. Now, if you bring it to his attention, what you think? And nothing is done. That's why I want to correct that.
Well, you just let him address me.
I'll be fast about it because the question is about the police chief. It's my understanding that was a private meeting. Everybody thought it was a public meeting. That was a private meeting. It was attended by, I think, three councilmen. I think Mr. Carter's father, some lawyers and everybody else. And when they came out of that meeting, at the last city council meeting, the police chief contract was extended and approved unanimously by the city council. So whoever comes in as mayor is going to work with whoever's in there, and that police chief is in there. So we're going to have to work with him. I mean, but that's one part of it. The other part is, I agree, the policemen are underpaid, and it's demoralizing when they come in, they invest, they train people, and then they're hired away. You're going to get what you pay for, you know? So that's the other thing. We've got to find a way to make our policemen, our firemen, our city workers get paid, and that's going to be through economic development. That's why my whole platform is about, I can talk to you about all these things, but until you figure out a way to pay for them, it's pie in the sky. So I'm going to activate I-10. I'm going to activate a lot of things. I'm going to expand our economy.
And then I want to say just one second.
What I'm saying, that if I was on the city council for years and one of my community had a problem with pipes backing up, I'd be done solved it by now. That's it.
I don't know why they keep saying there's no money for raises. I was just in a city council meeting the other day where the mayor told a council person that he had $30 million to invest in something, and that council person asked him, where did you get the money from? He said Lake Charles Rebound. What Lake Charles Rebound did is it consolidated the taxes, the individual taxes, so that the mayor can take the money and spend it as he wished. So they do have the money to give the raises.
I am a city employee, and I'm in my 27th year, and I'm going to just let you know how low the salaries are. I work in the administration department of the Transit Authority, and I don't make $25 an hour. So that just go to show you. When I'm elected, since we have money, they say we have money, let's give our city employees across the board a raise. This year, I only received a 2% raise. That's a cost of living raise. I was told we were going to get a 4% cost of living, 2% for your merit increase, and 2% cost of living. That didn't happen. So I would like to see all city employees receive a raise.
Somebody wants to know if you will have to resign from your position.
Yes, I will have to resign. I've already written to the Board of Ethics, and they said I don't, but the city said I have to resign the day after I win. So I will do that. I will stay in compliance.
All right, the next question is from Sister Lynn, then Sister Smith, then Mr. Joseph, and then Brother Harris.
I have a question for the police. Since Trump has dismantled the police, the ethics of the bad policemen, how are we supposed to know what good policemen are in the city and who we can trust?
Who asked the question? We should trust the law enforcement all the time. Now, if we should trust the police department or law enforcement all the time. Now, if they have a problem, they have a training issue. So that's the chief of police's job to make sure all his employees following the procedure 100%. It's not, I'm going to use the procedure on the black is different than the white, different than Middle Eastern. It should be the same way, and that's a mistake. That's a problem inside the city. We have to correct it. Okay. Yeah, but we cannot correct it from here. We have to be, if you elect me as a mayor, we should do this because this is an easy thing. It's for Lake Charles. It's not for black or white. It's for Lake Charles. If you have a problem, and this guy have a problem, this guy have a problem, they all should be treated equally, okay?
Okay, I'm a completely different candidate. I do not trust any police officer. I want them to be held accountable. You have to show me. Show me that you're worth being trusted. There are cops that may not be good cops. There are cops that may be emotional disturbed. There are cops that may be racist on both sides, black and white. So we have to hold them accountable. There's no reason why a cop wouldn't have a recorder on every time they stop somebody on their body as well as in the car. There are certain stipulations, certain things that we can do to hold police officers accountable, especially when it comes to a relationship with kids. We don't even have cops. That we have the sheriff department in the schools. Why we don't have the police officers? Police officers need to be in the community in multiple events, actually meeting other people, getting to know other people, especially people that's not from their neighborhood. They need to come to Lake Charles, need to go to a Washington game, a LaGrange game, and just meet teenagers that they may come across. So it's very, very important that we hold everyone accountable, including police officers. I'm not going to just love you automatically, just my mama and my daddy. That's it.
The police department used to be everywhere when inflation didn't take over. The pay is behind now. They used to have community policing. Nate Keller used to head up community policing. He went with me everywhere I went to talk to the citizens. We had a relationship with the community. So when you talk to a police officer or a sheriff deputy, you could trust what they were saying. Do I trust all of them? No. As mayor, I will have an office next to mine that will receive complaints. You can file one with internal affairs, but I want to know what's going on. It's one thing that I learned in the United States military. Keep everybody informed and everybody will keep you informed. So if you tell me, Mayor James Stewart, you got a problem with your police department, well, guess what? I want to know what it is, and I will call a police chief in, and we will narrow it down. A policy and procedure manual is what guide the police department. The only way you're going to fire a civil service officer or discipline him is they have to violate something in that policy and procedure manual. And I'm the only candidate that can sit down with the chief and review that policy and procedure manual and tell him what he needs to fix so we can make the department better. Thank you.
Well, one last thing. This is a fact. According to the chief Caldwell, we're short 30 police officers. The $1 million question is why we went that short. Why we have shortages that many? That's the big question we should ask. The police department, the police officers should, as soon as they clock in, they should patrolling our neighborhood, not patrolling the highways or anywhere else. They should be in our neighborhoods, make sure we are safe.
I'm a candidate going to stay on time, okay? We can't stay on time. We don't even need to be the mayor. I'm just going to be honest with you on that. Listen, I agree that they may need to do a raise, but a raise would not make you an honest person. A raise would not make you protect the person or do the right thing they're supposed to do right. So okay, let's give them a raise, but you also have to give them proper training for all types of people, and you also have to hold them accountable. You have to be accountable for your actions if you're walking around with a gun. That's it.
The sheriff department trains the Lake Charles PD. But y'all hear what I said? So the sheriff department does better job than Lake Charles PD. Reason for that, a lot of citizens don't know a shift for Lake Charles Police Department is only 5 or 6 officers. They are that short-handed. So they can be better if you give them a raise. That way you can, once you give them a raise, more will come in and you can fill that police department up. Once you staff it the way it should be, then all you got to do is get with your chief and wean out those who don't want to do right. That's it.
Good evening, everybody. I'm a disabled senior citizen, and one time I did call the police, and they never came. But when they did come, they did explain to me they were short. But I don't call the police anymore, and I live 5 minutes away from the police department. If I was physically able, I could walk there. But however, I was asking a question about the drainage. When I bought my home, I was not in a flood zone. But after Hurricane Laura, they came with surveyors and all this kind of stuff. I didn't know what was happening. I never got any notification. in the mail, but they changed where my home is on 1800 block of 8th Street, not too far from that school, Episcopal Day School. But anyway, they changed my house to a flood zone. And the flood insurance, I can't afford to pay. And that being said, I don't know the reason why they changed me. I'm not that far from I-10, you know. So I don't know why they changed where I live to a flood zone. And as far as flood insurance, I can't pay it.
What she just, I want to address that issue. What she just talked about is true. That's why the mayor is supposed to have your back. Right now, that issue is being discussed. Flood insurance is a federally funded. It's federally funded. No insurance company write a policy for flood insurance. It's federally funded. We have a United States Senator right now is trying to lower that. But you have one United States Senator from Kentucky named Rand Paul that's blocking it. Flood insurance is subsidized by the federal government to keep the cost down so you could afford it. But right now, that senator from Kentucky is blocking our senators from lowering that cost. But as mayor, they should hear my voice too. I should be up there talking to them. I should be talking to Rand Paul and say, hey, you hurt my city by holding this up. Right now, just like you just said, citizens cannot afford that flood insurance. Good question. Here's what's happening. Again, the mayor should be involved in that issue.
Your flood designation changed because FEMA changed the flood maps across the city. Some places that used to be at flood zone X were changed, and they had to get flood insurance. And there's two parts to this. One is, yes, we need to work with our delegation, our federal delegation, and they are working on that. But the other part is we can fix up our own drainage so you don't flood. And that's the other thing that you got to show the insurance companies, that if we don't flood, because the only thing they're going to charge you for is risk. If you can eliminate the risk, that'll help too. But look at what's happening. You're going to hear in this campaign by the current administration saying how much they spent on drainage and cleaning out the drains. After every hurricane, guess what happens? Your drains are going to get full. So that's not nothing. That's not doing anything except maintaining the status quo. That's not moving us forward. That's why things like a municipal pond that can hold and retain water and keep it away from people's homes is going to help them in Washington, D.C. get our things down. But FEMA changed the flood maps. That's what changed everything.
Can I ask my question? Okay. My name is Alvin Joseph, and I've been on the City Planning and Zoning Board for probably 8 years. And this is, well, first of all, I also worked in the past on patrol with the Sheriff's Office, and I was taking home $652.39 every 2 weeks.
That's right.
Raising a son, paying a mortgage by myself. Right. And if I didn't work security, I wouldn't be able to do anything. That's why I quit and went somewhere else. We'll start working for myself. And I ran for a state representative against your dad, and he can be 100 years old. I'd never run against him again. But anyway, I go to a lot of city council meetings, and this is really disturbing to me. When you have an item on the agenda, this is what it says: an ordinance declaring the intent of the city of Lake Charles to acquire a full ownership interest in 8 parcels of adjudicated property. This is just one time. One time it was 10, then it was 2. So my question at the agenda meeting was, what are the addresses of these 8 parcels? Mm-hmm. So why are you wanting to get these properties? Why we can't look at some citizens who really need, instead of y'all claiming these properties, and y'all don't even list the address. I was about to say something bad. I forgot where it was. Sorry, Pastor. But why you don't even list the properties on the papers? So you know what I was told? Well, it'll be too much. Well, just put the physical addresses, because when you go to you do your condemnations of all of these homes in this area, you list the property and you list all the heirs. And this is what happens, and hopefully we can get our stuff together, people. My people, is to get everything right, because if not, you know, it's costly to get everything together. But my thing is, why are y'all giving all this to the mayor? And then at one of the meetings, I'm not going to say what council it is, somebody's running for that office, one person, but it's at that meeting, this is what they asked, well, where are these parcels at? So you haven't looked at it and y'all just turning it over? You know what that's really called? It started with a G, gentrification. That's what's going on. Thank you.
Yeah, you just hit on the one of the most solid nerves that I deal with, is that the city is in the business now of buying property. It's not just somebody's property in the neighborhood. They bought the Capital One property after they were responsible for the building coming down when it could have been fixed. And here's the bigger thing. When the city buys property, they don't pay taxes on it. So guess who the tax burden falls on? You talking about ITEL, but that's just as bad too. So when you get your property tax assessment at the end of the year, the city isn't paying anything. They paid $3 million for the Capital One building property. That property had 5 separate tax assessments that generated $140,000 a year. They're not going to pay anything. The same thing is happening here. There's a lady, Candace Alexander. If you get a chance, look at her Facebook page. She talked about a gentleman that did a lot of work with her. He would bring different things. And this gentleman talked about how they cut off his water, they cut off his gas. He was living in a travel trailer. They wound up tearing down his house, and now he has no address. So that needs to be done. And one thing that I'm committed to doing is all of that property is going to be declared surplus property and put into a program to allow people to have home ownership opportunities, have developers develop it.
10 seconds. At one time, we had a North Redevelopment Authority Board and was trying to get this adjudicated property back in commerce. Matter of fact, I went to Baton Rouge with your dad, me and Craig Moss, to talk about the importance of getting this board back together, because we got a downtown one and a couple of others, but we never got. Do you know the status of that right now? Anybody?
Representative Carter abolished that board, so that it no longer exists.
I just want to say I was at that same meeting last Wednesday when Alvin asked that question. And it's very easy to list the addresses on the agenda just like they do everything else. But his question never got answered. They went all around it, but they never said, we can do it. Or they gave him a copy of what they had, but the public didn't have it. So we need transparency and accountability.
And another issue, like Mr. Elvin said, about 4 weeks ago, I attended the city council meeting. And I was right there in the back. I don't want to show my face. So they had to make a decision of annexation certain area in South Lake Charles to G District. And you have to say yay or nay. Guess what? 7 of them said yes. And I jumped and I said, you haven't even seen the map. How can you say yes? 7 out of 7 said yes to the annexation without looking at it. So they asked, Miss August asked, let's be fair, Miss August asked, are we voting on this? We haven't seen the plans. The city attorney said, oh, you'll see it later. And this is a fact.
Let's be honest, we know why they're doing what they're doing. It's a secret plot to take over land. We already know what that is, all right? That board was abolished because they wanted to control who was on the board. The board got to be people of that community. If you take a property, it has to go back, recycle back into the community. I don't care if it's for $1 or a dime, but it has to be for someone in this community. And that's not the plan that they want to do, all right? You need somebody that you feel comfortable with to fight for you, especially laying in North Lake Charles. That's all I'm saying.
Just to finish, one second, please. Okay, I'm not gonna be one of those 7 that I'm always, if everybody say yes, I don't have to say yes. I'm gonna use my experience and my education to make the best decision. If everybody said no, I'm not gonna say no unless I believe in it. Thank you.
As your mayor, I will be transparent. And Alvin, if I'm elected mayor, that board will be created again. We should be transparent if we mayor. We should not be hiding anything. Everything should be listed, addresses. If I give someone a check, you should know who that person is that got the check. This mayor will be transparent, and the board will come back. Thank you.
I don't necessarily live in Lake Charles, but I do lead here. And what I've discovered is there's a common issue in Lake Charles. And the common issue is not who the mayor is. The mayor has changed. The issue is John Cardone. You got the same city administrator running over all for decades. And so we have this issue and we elect a mayor. But you got Cardone down there running the mafia. Okay? And until that changes, ain't nothing changing. So what I'd like to hear, what I'd like to hear, and this can go for everybody from whoever's running for the different councils all the way up to the mayor. This city needs a nationwide search for a top 10 city administrator that has run and grown a city under 100,000 people. Until we get that, it's going to look like it's going to look, and it's going to be like what it's going to be, because the godfather of Lake Charles is John Cardone. And if you can't move him, you don't need to be the mayor.
John Cardone will not be working for me. I've already talked to John Cardone. John Cardone stated that this is his last, when Nick Hunter leaves, he's leaving. And I expect to beat Nick Hunter. So he'll be leaving, and John Cardone will not be working for me. Thank you.
But brother, what you're saying is true, but the reason why we're not holding them accountable, accountability means a whole lot. It's just like if you don't hold a guy accountable for doing his job, he won't do it. I mean, some people will, don't get me wrong. But accountability, that's the problem. It's no accountability. If we held these people accountable, yeah, he's going to do what he's supposed to do.
Just to be very clear, John Cardone would not work for a Carter, so you don't have to worry about that, especially with my first and last name. So you definitely don't have to work for that. Personally, we have talent right here in Lake Charles or in the surrounding areas that can actually do that job. That job is extremely important. They handle the day-to-day operations. We got people that are already doing that. So that's not hard to replace. People think it is, but you are absolutely right. He is connected to a lot of powerful people in the city. So I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I don't know how much time I got, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, when I get in there, they're not going to like some of the things that I'm going to do, because I'm going to force inclusion and diversity, and so they're going to attack my character. They're going to say I'm aggressive. They're going to try to pin me to my dad and say I'm aggressive, I'm an angry man, and I don't like white people. That's not true. I like everybody. I just want fairness for the entire city. That's all I want. All right? See how I say on time? It's not that hard, no.
Yes. The reason why somebody who's not the mayor can do what you're saying that they can do, you look at the president, what they're doing with Elon Musk. You need somebody that understands administration. I'm an administrator. I mean, I'm a worker bee. You're not going to see me on Facebook taking pictures of things that I had nothing to do with, photo ops and things like that. I work. You look at the red side of that card, those are the results of that. So part of that is going to be, yes, we do need to find a very high quality qualified person, because there's an opportunity that's going to happen with this city in the next year when all these LNGs start coming through, where we have an opportunity to really truly build a transformational city that brings everybody to the table. And I can tell you, when we, under Community Foundation, when we did the Just Imagine plan, we found a world-class planning group to come in, and they came up with a plan that's going to work. And we need to do the same thing. I pray we find somebody with that kind of talent here, because I think the talent is here, and it just needs an opportunity to do itself. But I'm not going to forsake anything, because I think this community, our city, deserves the best.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bonita January, and I'm a local educator here. I have one question, and I want to thank the guys, the young men who are running for the office of mayor. You guys are amazing. You really are. You have a plethora of knowledge. I just have one question. Can we all unify with the knowledge that you have and select one of you all to represent us in this beautiful city we have? And we bind together like never before to get this city the way God wants it to be. But if we all doing what we're doing now, we're not on that unified front. And you all are you wealth of knowledge. I admire you all for what you're doing. But my one question is, and to God be the glory, can we all unify, select one person to run the race? That's all I ask. I love you all.
It's a question if you ever want to answer.
That sounds very, very logical, and it makes a lot of sense. This is the only issue. We are from different parties, so we have different values. I'm from the Democratic Party. I believe in working for the working people. I believe in serving the working people. I got the same ideas and ideology that Obama may have, that Kamala may have. You got people that used to be Republicans, not Republicans. You got some Republicans. You got some Democrats, not independents, that's I don't know why people change. I'm committed to a certain core value. So it doesn't matter the color. If you're not committed to a certain core value, then I can't go with that. You know, that's why I entered the race, because I looked at other people and I wanted to pick someone and I felt uncomfortable, okay, about the options that I have. We all good people. And if I don't win, I'm still going to support whoever becomes the mayor, all right? But keep in mind, you have to win by 51%. So whoever wins by 51%, it don't matter who got the 49. You cannot split a vote, because eventually, if somebody got 50% or less, then we're going to have that runoff with them two, the top two. All right? So there's no such thing as splitting a vote. That's time? Okay.
Do y'all have
I'll tell you. And I'm going to try to be as respectful about this as I can. I've been running this race for a while now. I've put a lot out there. Yes, I am running as an independent because that's where I am right now. You know, I can tell you, the Democratic Party argument falls on deaf ears with me, because when it came down to the end of qualifying, there were 3 judge races, 2 of them for the 14th Judicial District Court, 1 of them for the state Supreme Court, that had no opposition. 3 Republican candidates walked into the court. They never got a chance to talk to you, but they're going to sit in judgment of you. So is the Democratic Party only supposed to get involved when there's black candidates in the race, or is it supposed to speak for this community as a whole? And I'm not disparaging anybody, because at the end of the day, I can tell you, my party, everything that I've done for this community is because I am a son of Lake Charles. I grew up in North Lake Charles, but my political party is Southwest Louisiana. And whatever happens that benefits this part of our country, I'm with it. Because I can tell you, there's dominoes dropping in Washington, D.C., there's dominoes dropping in Baton Rouge, and everybody's looking at that first domino, but nobody's looking at the last domino. Well, right here is the last domino. And if we don't have somebody in the gap to stop those dominoes by pulling the ones that's going to fall on us, we're going to be caught up in the same wave. So what happens in Washington, D.C. should not have an effect here. You all know me. You know me. I'm running from my heart, because I'm at a place right now with empty nesters. I've served. I've done a lot of things. But there's certain things that are happening in our community that won't let me sleep at night. And the only thing I'm asking you to do is that everybody vote. If everybody votes, I can live with the outcome. But please do not disparage anybody because they're not part of this group, not part of that group, because of the color of their skin. It's really got to be about us. It's got to be about Lake Charles. It's got to be about building this community, because I have 3 children that are not coming back here. not coming back here because the opportunities that they need are not here by no reason other than we're so divided. I wish we could stand unified. I wish we could. And I stand before you here because I'm putting it all out there. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go back on the riverside and I'm going to live a happy life because I will have gotten it out of my system and made sure that I put it out there. If you elect me mayor, I'm going to be a great mayor. I'm going to sleep day and night on everything about helping our community. But if that doesn't happen and I put everything out there, I'm going to sleep well at night knowing that I did. Like I said, we're a Joshua generation. We can go into the promised land, or if necessary, I'll be Jonah and just deliver the message to Nineveh. But either way, we need to come together as a people because we cannot do it divided. And that is 500 years worth of history has shown that.
I believe I heard him say that what happens in Washington, D.C. doesn't affect us here. Did I hear that right?
No, you didn't hear that.
Did I hear that?
No.
Okay, because it does. Because let me tell you something. They talking about taking 5 million people off of Medicaid. A $1 trillion budget cut as we speak. 5 million people, and there will be some from Lake Charles who will have to reapply for Medicaid. That's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. The flood insurance she was talking about, that's Washington, D.C. That's not Baton Rouge. That's Washington, D.C. Never let no one tell you what's going on in Washington, D.C. does not affect Lake Charles.
They have a right to deny you a right for insurance. They can deny your penalty. No longer, like we had penalties on insurance companies that did not pay us accordingly in a timely manner. The penalties are withdrawn per the governor of Louisiana in the last special session. So that's the Louisiana Insurance Commissioner. That's who you have to take it over with.
Not the flood insurance. The flood insurance is federally funded. It's federally funded. It does not go through the insurance commissioner. No, it is not. So let me finish this. I don't want to debate Lottie. I don't want to debate her, but I just want to let you know there's a lot of things coming down from Washington, D.C. that's going to affect this town. That's just like in Baton Rouge right now. That's going to affect this town.
Thank y'all. I really do appreciate you. It's hard to debate these issues. They're complex issues, okay? And I'm not looking for, is it Major Stewart now, or I'm not looking for the answer, okay? Captain? All right. Because you know I worked with you, man. You was over at our school. Look, I'm not trying to give you, I'm going to say it again to you. These are complex issues. And I want you to be very cautious in what you say to people because those things change. The dynamics change. But what I really want to hear from you that you're going to fight for us, that you're going to get these young kids jobs. You're going to help this community grow. You're going to do those things that are going to help us. What about expansion? What about annexation of those other small communities? My wife has friends, and we have friends that they're in an area out there that can't vote. They're in the rural areas, and we have not annexed them yet. We need to annex them. I'm not today asking you to give me the answer because I don't want you to tell me something that's not right. But what I'm trying to tell you is, as a community, you know, we're hurting. And I'm saying this because when the hurricane happened, if I didn't have one of my students, I'm going to tell you just like it is. One of my students, she was working at the desk. The other lady said, we don't have any apartments. She said, Mr. Bangs, you come back here at 5 o'clock. I'm going to have an apartment for you. All right? That's what I'm talking about because they helped me. All right? They helped a whole bunch of other people get places because there's no places to stay. But right now, you cannot afford to get an apartment. You know, people are staying in a one-bedroom apartment $2,100 a month. The guy can charge whatever he wants to charge for rent. All right? And I mean, let's talk about it because it's not keeping pace with it. The part I'm trying to tell you about these jobs, you know, I'm glad you, Simeon, what you're talking about, the development grants. I'm telling you guys, people can't afford it. Y'all talk about eggs, right? I mean, come on. We went in there, my wife and I went and bought eggs 2 weeks ago. It was $4 a dozen. Now they're $12 a dozen, if you can find them. But I ain't talking about the gasoline. Water bill, the water bill here in this done gone up. You listen to the lady over here, she's hurting. If she gets flooded out, they ain't gonna cover it. The insurance doesn't cover it. It's not, don't tell them about what they're doing in Washington, or don't tell them about what's happening someplace else. Tell them about what we're gonna do for us right now. You know, because that's what we want. And I'm not, look, I'm past this mic because she pulling my leg.
Since you mentioned my name,
This
the
gonna be
mayor
the last
alone,
question.
the mayor alone cannot fix that. The mayor alone cannot fix. Let's be honest. Mayor alone cannot fix flood insurance. Mayor alone cannot fix the cost of insurance. But the mayor can be your advocate, your voice, so that they can make everyone to make these decisions aware of what's happened to his community. That's what I can do as mayor. I can advocate for you, Mr. Banks. I can go talk to the politicians in Washington, D.C. or in Baton Rouge to let them know how we're hurting over here. But if someone tell you the mayor alone can do this, no, I'll never say that.
I'll tell you what. Okay, but anyway, what you're saying resonates with me. It really does, because our community is hurting, no doubt about it. Like I said, all these businesses have left, pharmacies, grocery stores. These are essential businesses. We need those. You know, you want to make groceries, you ain't got to go across town. You need your prescription filled. Now everybody got to run across town. But our community is deteriorating, ain't no doubt about it. And what you said is true. I agree with you 100%. And you just got to ride around and look around. You don't have to take what I'm saying. Just get in your car, ride around, and you see what I'm talking about. And what you're saying is true.
I like what he's saying, because what I promise is I will engage the process. I mean, there is a process for things to get done. And we have to hold everybody accountable. You know, we can't elect folks and not knowing why the city is acquiring property. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
We have one more question in the audience, and then after this, we're going to give the candidates time to answer this question, and then time to give a closing statement. But he's going to ask this question.
I'm going to speak on what this young lady here said earlier about people getting together on things. But we don't do in this community. If Charles, Stewart, and the rest of the people get together and win, why we don't get behind that person after they win? Why we just got to be CEO in another 4 years? Get behind the person who win. Everybody got some good ideas up here. Everybody got great ideas up here. But get together and work with each other. Don't just come back in 4 years and say, I want you to vote again. Get together with the people up here. Everybody got good ideas. People getting tired of what's going on here. They're getting really tired of it. We have crime in the neighborhood. We have those stores, no banks like Charles. We have no banks, no stores in North Lake Charles. Put something out here for the people. Talking about job. What I'm saying about education. 90% of the people not going to get an engineering degree. Give them something in the neighborhood to look forward to. They could be $14, $15, $16 hour jobs. I don't care what it is. Give these people something to look forward to. Bring some business in the community. But start working together on things.
You're absolutely right. You know, when I served 2 terms on the city council. That's pretty much the only time I served in public office. And after I got out, when I lost, it was to Miss Mary Morris. And it was a horrible time because this whole thing about horses and what it did to my family and everything else, I was never going to do that again. But when Miss Mary called on me, I was always there. When they were trying to rezone this whole area in North Lake Charles and make it industrial, she called me. She said, Marshall, she said, I need you to come and speak for our community. And it was a council room full of people, and we beat back the scrap metal yards from taking over our community. We have to come together because we're all in the same ship. You know, there's this show called One Strange Rock, and it talks to 8 different astronauts that went off into space, and every last one of them that went up into space, when they came back, they were totally changed. They said when you look at our planet from up there, the atmosphere looks this thin, and everywhere around us is just death and destruction. And they don't see lines, they don't see people, all they see is one planet existing in what God created. And they come back and everything seems so petty to them. And that's the perspective I have. I don't hold any grudge against anybody that's running for office because I think we all have things to say. But I am only running for that position. And like I said earlier, there's one person in that position, and I'm holding him accountable for what's happening today in our community.
Brother Paul Charles, you're absolutely right. As a public relations officer for the sheriff's office, I have helped and worked with so many different people, even citizens that didn't agree with me. When I finished, they agreed with me. But I've worked with Marshall Simeon has called me before on my cell phone about issues on the weekend. I answer my phone 24/7, and I still have the same phone number I had while working in the sheriff's office. Milton Bellard has contacted me before about issues, and I've taken care of it. So many people. The principal, I've talked to him about issues. I do not only handle law enforcement issues, I handle community issues. I just talked to a senior the other day, I believe was about to lose her home. Somebody was contacting her out of Texas to get her to sign over her home to burn her son out of jail that's in Texas. AI is so far advanced right now, you don't know who you're talking to. She was crying when she came to me just 2 days ago. And I don't work for the sheriff's office anymore. But I still reached out my hand and helped her and told her, do not do that. Here's the person you need to talk to in Lake Charles. And she appreciated that and thanked me for that. I have not heard back from her, so I know she didn't lose her home. But I come together with anyone, and I'll help anyone. Even if I'm not elected mayor, I'll still be there for you. Thank you.
Mrs. Stewart, can you pass it too?
Could have called me. I'm born in Texas, by the way. I do bonds. So listen, we all good people. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm strongly committed in unity. I'm strongly committed to family. If I don't win, I'm telling you right now, I'm committed to serving the best way I possibly can, how I've always served. Whoever becomes the mayor, I am under their leadership, and I will serve as every way they want me to serve. I'll be happy and I'll be honored to do it. But that's not the question. We can tell that this city is missing something. There's a level of frustration going on in this city. We know that they are not being treated fairly in some parts of the city. We already know this. There's a frustration going on. I know on my side of town for sure. Now this is the question. Most of you know who I am. Most of you know who the people are that's running. The question is, you want a fighter, right? You want an intelligent, controlled, emotionally controlled fighter. That's what you want. You want someone that has a plan. You want someone that doesn't understand the word no or don't accept excuses because they've been using the same excuses. You want somebody to fight and lead and, not most important, listen to what you're saying. If they can't get it done, at least call you back or have a conversation with you of why it couldn't get done. We need a relationship with somebody that will actually stand up that you will be proud for. It's up to you to figure out who that is. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, would anybody like to give a closing statement? You will have 1 minute. Was that your closing statement?
Oh, no, I can do another one now.
Okay.
I can do this all day.
So since we started with Sister Amanda, I call her Sister Amanda because of NAUW, We're gonna no. We're gonna start with Carter. We're gonna go
start with me?
around. Amanda gonna be last, so you go,
Okay,
and
let's
then we're
start
gonna
with
go this way. We're
How
gonna
much
let
time I
him go
have?
first. You have 1 minute
Okay, cool. Because
to tell us why we should vote for you.
Yes, ma'am, but on a time. This is a simple reason why you want to vote for me. We need somebody new. I'm not a politician. I'm an educator. I'm a person with a vision. I'm a person with a plan. I'm a business owner. I've been able to lead people. All right? We need some courage. We need someone that's aggressive with some emotional intelligence to push us forward. We don't need to continue to recycle politicians that's already had the opportunity to do something. If you want change, we have to actually change the people that are making the decisions. Okay? So let's make sure you pick me if you want. I'm number 4, and let's see what happens together. We need to do this together, all right? Full disclosure of what's going on in Lake Charles. No back secrets, nothing. You can find me at a football game. You can find me at anywhere at an event in Lake Charles. I'm always here. And Mr. Banks got my number. Take care.
I'm Charles Gallion. I'm number 14 on the ballot. I'm running for Lake Charles City Council District C. The thing about it is, I'm running for the people. Like I said in the beginning, it's not about me. It's about the people, the community in the city of Lake Charles as well now. Like, you know, with all the businesses leaving and the police problems we having, to me, it's all about accountability. We don't have any accountability. We're going to have to start holding these city officials accountable for what's going on. I'm just being real. Because if we don't hold them accountable, believe me, we're going to have the same results for the next 4 years. And that's negative results. We want positive results. I tell you what, when people out of town ask me where do I live in Lake Charles, and I tell them where I live,
Mr. Gallion.
I kind of feel a little bit ashamed because my community is running down, it's deteriorating, it's going downhill.
Thank you.
Again, I'm James Stewart, candidate for Mayor of Lake Charles. I'm number 7 on the ballot. This I promise you, if I'm elected mayor, I will have an open door policy. I will be transparent to the city council, whoever get elected. My books will be open. I will not have any hidden accounts that the city council don't know anything about. I will be out here fighting for our youth. Remember what I said, that's an initiative on the ballot where a 13-year-old get charged with stealing a car, they can be charged with a felony. We have a good district attorney here now that's not going to do that, but what if we get one elected that don't go by that? We have to save our youth. That's another one of my priorities. Besides giving the police and firemen a raise, but our firemen, we've lost half the fire department. If a fire department closes in your neighborhood, your insurance is going up. We don't need that to happen. I'm on the forefront for that. I will fight for you. I will look out for you. I will have your back. And Mr. Banks, I will be transparent.
Time up, Mr. Stewart.
And I will let you know what's going on. And if I'm elected, I'm going to call you to my office. I'm always open to advice. One thing I learned as a command sergeant major, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Thank you.
Thank y'all everybody for staying this late, because I know it's on a Monday night. This is a tough time for people, but this is how important this election is that you're all here. I'm Marshall Simeon. I'm number 6 on the ballot, and it's a great number for me because that's how many people in my family. I've got me and my wife, my 3 children, and now I've got a new daughter for a daughter-in-law. So six works really well for me. But I will say this: you each got a card. I mean, I'll let my work and my words speak for me. On that card, on the blue side, there's a QR code that takes you to a website, my website. And the website has my entire platform. It has all the videos of interviews. I've talked about a number of things that was nothing off limits. And please, just look at it. Take your time. It's no big rush. We have some debates coming up. You're going to learn more. But take your time and study, because this is a transformational race. This city is an 8-cylinder engine. It always has been. From the time I was on the board, it was an 8-cylinder engine, and it's operating on about 2. I just want to crank it up and see what we can do. Thank you.
I'm gonna be different from everybody else. If I get elected as a mayor, I'm gonna do three things. First one, generate money for the city, a lot of money. How to do that? First, tourism. Tourism, you don't have to do anything for the city. You just bring people in and spending money, and everybody will be happy. And then we're gonna create a new jobs, and we're gonna help support the local businesses from running out of business, and we're gonna try to see if we can get big manufactured factories. And then we're gonna fix the sewage, the drainage, the development of Civic Center. Plus, nobody talked about the youth. Our youth are the pillars of our future. If I get elected, I'm gonna have two things. I'm gonna have internship program for our youth from 15 to 18 years old, get them a job in the summer, and get them paid so they can learn responsibility and dependent on their self. And then we're gonna encourage the police department and all city employees to be involved with this community volunteerism. Thank you.
Hello, I am Priscilla Sam, number 17 on the ballot, the best number in the world. I come from a house of 17. And the question was, why am I running? I'm a community server. I have been serving the community since I was 10. I was that little girl that was going to get all the elders' medicine from Price's drugstore. And still today, a mother of 24, and like I said, only one biological child. You see, people get it confused. It's a difference between service in the community and community service. Community service is giving up yourself, not doing a job that you're getting paid for. Right. Okay? I have been doing a back-to-school drive where we give free uniforms, free school supplies, and doing free hairdos. Because I remember I was one step from being there. So I'm running to serve the community. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I'm Donald Fundale again, in City Council, District B, number 12 on the ballot. And I can assure you of one thing, I'll be accountable to you. I believe that any problem can be solved. It may take time, it may take effort, and I'm willing to do that, But the thing of it is that we must start electing people who are going to do the work. We can't elect people that don't even show up to answer our questions or don't even follow through with what we ask. And some of these questions are very simple. I was talking to a lady and she told me about the sewer. So I went to the sewer department and said, well, what's the problem? And they got major problem. It should be at the forefront of the issue. But if nobody...
Time up, Mr. Fundale.
Well, it looked like y'all saved the best for last. The Bible says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So in keeping in line with the mission of the city of Lake Charles, just in case y'all didn't know what the mission is to enhance the quality of life for our citizens, our neighbors, and visitors, and to provide a foundation for the growth and prosperity of future generations by providing community services and facilitating orderly growth and development. So in keeping in line with that same mission, my vision for District C is to improve the quality of life for the citizens living in District C by providing accessible services, meeting the citizens where they are, growing our district with affordable housing, and attracting new businesses.
Time up, Miss Amanda.
Okay. Look, nobody else followed the rules, but I'm going to follow the rules.
All right, let's give all of the candidates a hand. Now listen, I'm not running for office, but I want to tell you briefly about my typical day. I wake up in the morning if I go to sleep, and I wake up to text messages and phone calls already that happen in the night because I try to answer them as they come. And it's people who ask questions like, Miss Ozanne, can you pay my rent? Miss Ozanne, can you pay my light bill? Miss Ozanne, can you help me with my water bill? Miss Ozanne, I need food. Miss Ozanne, I have a hole in my floor and I'm afraid to tell somebody because I'm scared they're gonna try to take my children. Miss Ozanne, I have a rodent problem. This landlord is not taking care of this house. Miss Ozanne, I need this, I need that, I need this. These are the calls I receive every day. I'm gonna ask the candidates to have a seat because this is important. And they're talking right now, and these are their constituents I'm talking about. So I'm gonna need the candidates to pay attention because I don't do these type of events for my benefit or just for fun or because I get paid to do it. I'm gonna ask the candidates to please give me the same respect that I gave them and not speak while I'm speaking. I get calls every day from the citizens of Lake Charles asking me for help from my organization. In a typical day, I help about 30 people. That could be anywhere from buying them a hot meal to groceries to paying their rent to paying their insurance, whatever they're calling for. We have this all on record. Several of Vessel Project volunteers are here. I don't live in Lake Charles, I live in Carlos, but my children went to Cumbria. I lived on Ray Street in North Lake Charles. Tonight we heard about Lake Charles, we heard about North Lake Charles, and we heard about South Lake Charles. We didn't hear High School Park, we didn't hear New Terrace, Old Terrace, we didn't hear Fisherville, we didn't hear Gosport. Those are the areas where the people are missing from these seats. The reason they're missing from these seats are because they're trying to figure out, what am I gonna feed my children tonight? How am I gonna pay my water bill? How am I gonna pay my light bill? I don't have time to go to a debate. I don't have time to go to a city council meeting. Yes, many of them know you because you have made yourselves known. But how many of you know them? How many of you know the mom who has 8 children living in a 2-bedroom with a hole in the middle of her living room floor and the landlord refuses to fix it, but she still has to pay $1,200 a month? The reason her rent is so high is because of the very industries Mr. Simeon talked about. Those industries that have come here and hired outside people to come to our community and work, they give them a per diem, they can afford the rent, we can afford the rent, but yet we're forced to pay that rent. The same industries that come here and pollute our water, that we have to pay a high water bill for, that we can't drink the water, but we have to pay for it. The same industries that come here and pollute our air, driving up our health care costs for our children, who then turn around and call people like Miss Priscilla, call people like me and other organizations and say, can you help me pay for my child's asthma medicine? We talking about DC and we talking about Baton Rouge, but we're not talking about Fifth Avenue. We're not talking about Fisherville. We're not talking about right here deep down in Lake Charles, the areas that continue to be left out because too many people are running on a north and south platform, a whole Lake Charles platform. But that ain't how Lake Charles is built, unfortunately, because when you talk about North Lake Charles, you know what North Lake Charles is? Moss Bluff. Gosport is Gosport. You want to talk about North Lake Charles, you go over to Moss Bluff, the place that's being built up where the money is actually going. I'm not running for nothing. I live in Carlos, but I care about this place. I had to leave North Lake Charles in order to help North Lake Charles because I realized the politics here a long time ago. If they feel like you got a voice, if they feel like you're gonna say something, they're gonna try to take something from you. They're gonna try to push you out. They're gonna try to be in competition with you. I'm not in competition with anybody. My house paid for in Carlos, and I don't even vote here. But I care about this place because this is where my children got their start. They went to Cumbria. I tutored at Cumbria. Mr. Winey gave me a chance. So I want to give that back to this community. It's not happening. It has not happened in the last 8 years. Whenever Hurricane Laura and Delta happened and I started my organization, I got in the inbox of everybody who was running for a position at that time, including the current mayor. And I asked them to meet me on the corner of Highway 14 and Prion Lake Road. Only a few people showed up. Only a few people showed up. Go check your Facebook inbox, because I guarantee it's there, because if I didn't know you, if I didn't know your phone number, I sent you a message on Facebook, social media, somewhere. Only a few people showed up. We ended up putting over 300 people in a hotel room. I didn't do that. I didn't have that money in my account. The community came together and did that. The current mayor didn't do that. The community came together to do that. So what I'm asking of every person who's on the ballot, who I love some of you and respect some of you so much, and you know who you are, people show up for me. I can call some of these people on the phone and say, hey, somebody need $800 rent paid. They cutting a check. I can say, hey, I need somebody to go deliver groceries. They going. I know the people who show up for this community because I call them. If you want to run for office, if you want to sit in a position, I'm going to call you because I get the calls from the people who need the help. And if you're not helping people, I'm going to let people know. Oh, don't call her. She ain't doing nothing. Don't vote for her. Yes, don't vote for her. Don't vote for him. They're not doing anything. They're all talk and no action. But what I want the people to do is to get down in the community in those crevices where the people are not on these pews. Because the people here, they're going to vote. And the people here already know who they're going to vote for. And the people here knew who they was going to vote for before they walked through that door. They knew who they was going to vote for before any words came out of you all's mouth tonight. But I implore you to go down deep into Lake Charles where it's being missed, where the crime you talk about is happening, where the food deserts are at, where the jobless are. Don't just go to Abraham 10 for a photo op. Ask the mayor where I meet him at the most. I don't see the mayor at the city council meetings. Y'all know where I see the mayor at? In D.C. We be in the same offices. We be in the same rooms. He be sitting there fighting for one thing and I be fighting for another one. Let me just tell you, and he ain't fighting for North Lake Charles. He fighting for Mac needs to have an LNG Excellence Center while I'm in there saying that there is no grocery store in North Lake Charles. People are fighting. People are working. People are doing the jobs. But if you want to be on the ballot, go down where the people are. Figure out why they got these parents who cannot feed their children. People who are going to work every day. Like, these are not people who are just sitting at home collecting food stamps. People who are going to work every day cannot pay their rent. They're not on Section 8. The rent $1,200, $900. Leon, tell them how much your light bill. $800, go to work every day. These are the people that you all need to be talking to. And that's my plea. I just took that opportunity because I heard a lot tonight and I was like, wait a minute now. We talking a lot about DC and police officers, but we're not talking about the people that we need to be helping. The people have been left out of the conversation for too long. We have to put the people first. Who are we running for? Who are our constituents? And that's all I'm saying. That's all I want to say. Brother Alderman, will you please close us out with prayer? And then you all can be on about your way. And look, don't be like, I'm not going up to no more her events. All of you all are invited to our community meeting next month.
Amen. Thank you guys so much. All of the candidates, we thank you for coming out and sharing your platform with us. Let me just say one thing. This town hall meeting was outstanding. I wish we had more people. But only one thing that really hurts me, we only have it during election time. I wish that when we would get in office, that we would come back once a month, every quarter, and let the people know what you're fighting for, what you're doing, what you have accomplished. We don't see you guys but during election time. That's the only time we see you. I want you to know that Mill Street will always be open. We always open our doors. You can come here anytime, and we'll let you, if you want to take my place up there and preach, I might even let you do that. But we really need to know what you're doing for us. When we elect you, come back and let us know what you're doing, what you're fighting for. That's all we ask. Amen? Dear God, we thank you so much for this meeting. We thank you for the candidates that came out and shared with us their belief, dear God. And we hope and we pray and we think that all of them were truthful. We think that these candidates are concerned. They are sincere. And we just pray, dear God, that however the election turn out, like they all stated, they will still support the one that have won the election. And you know, God, we believe that you're in control, and we believe that you will put in office whoever you want, not who I want, but who you want. We believe that. We truly believe that. But we ask that you bless us all, bless the candidates as they go on from this night and continue their campaign. And dear God, we pray that no hurt, no harm, or anything can come to any of them. And we pray that we will have a successful election. Bless each family that is represented here tonight. We all go through struggles, difficulties, and we ask that you touch each family in a very special way. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. And we thank you. Let me just pause for a moment and thank you for our sister Rosetta for what she does. For her work's sake, she does so much good things for the community. Continue to bless her in her vessel project. We pray this in Jesus' name. Your son who gave up everything for us, not only in this life, but in the life to come. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. God bless you. Thank you for coming.